Hey everybody, welcome into the Odd Rhythm Fantasy Studios. I am Jamie. That's Eli. Welcome in. It's Wednesday. No, not Wednesday. It's Thursday. My
Thirsty Thir
bad.
he already up the bit. Well, he doesn't. I mean, we're confuzzled, we're confused. Normally, we do Wednesday nights, but due to circumstances with my work, we've been doing the last couple Thursdays, so it'll go back to Wednesday next week. So we'll get back on the normally scheduled programming. But since it's Thirsty Thursday, I got to do a couple plugs, obviously. Because
Ooh.
you know what? We have all the previous content over on Spotify, YouTube, all those good places, a couple other platforms. And you know what, Jay, we always talk it up, but if anybody's new to coming across us or listening to us, what's the hype about Discord? Obviously, people know about the X, they know about Twitter, but Intro X back again. Repeat customer can't help. So,
Damn
Jay,
right.
talk about this Discord here. Make
I,
make make it happen.
well,
I'm gonna mix a drink because it's Thirsty Thursday, and I some cranberry juice. I
well, I
have some
mean,
Grey Goose.
ooh. Oh, nice.
Eh,
Look at this
I don't, I
guy.
don't, I ain't got no lemons. I ain't got no garnish here. I ain't got no real cranberries. But we're gonna do a cranberry vodka.
There you
You
go.
you, you talk that up quick, big boy. Oh
I, I
yeah.
mean, I mean
Ooh,
the
nice and
Discord's
cold.
actually. I mean, the Discord's actually pretty awesome. I mean, I got a lot of different channels in it. Well, we have a lot of different channels in there. I mean, anything to. I mean, if you're in the card hobby, if football, basketball, whatever, you can share in there. NASCAR. We got a little draft room prep. For so anything you want to talk about, any prospects or even rookie rankings, NFL draft, etc. And then we just pretty much got some other channels, trades, waivers, just some random stuff. Or if you're in the if you're in a keeper league, yeah, we got a channel for keepers and stuff like that in there. So just a little various different channels in there, and we got some college links in there too as well. So just a lot of various different links up in there. But yeah, if you guys can like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. I guess we can't we can't here's the sad thing. We can't even stream to freaking X anymore because you have to have a subscription now. So there goes X, there goes Facebook. I guess we're just YouTube now and Twitch, I guess. Whatever the hell it is. I don't even know.
They're,
This is
they're,
all getting this is getting redunculous.
these bastards, they're taking everything away from us. But
We're
like,
just
but like Mel Gibson said in Braveheart, they can't take our freedom,
right?
and they
Well,
can't take
well,
my cranberry vodka here. And cheers to you, buddy. Tomorrow's your birthday.
hell
I don't
yeah,
think
it
a lot of
is.
people know that. So, yeah, happy early birthday. Happy.
Damn right.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but for all for so this is I'm gonna do a quick plug for a different channel, a different YouTube channel. If you're actually in baseball leagues and stuff like that right now, go check out the PallazzoPodcast over there on YouTube. Great fellows. There's like 4 or 5 different guys over there. They stream 3 times a day. And we got MJ over there, Mr. Govia. He's the leader of that pack. I mean, if you're into
That's big
prospects,
ticket. That's
yeah,
big ticket to me. That's
yep,
that's
he
that's
is.
HOF.
And if you're into prospects, and hey, you got big gentle band, you got Robbie Baseball over there he used to work with the RotoWire or one of those 2 sites over there. They talk about prospects, and then you got Mike VA who loves just talking about baseball over there. But all these guys are up in Twitter. Just follow just hit up their YouTube channel. Should have a description to all their links to X and whatnot. Great fellows over there. They got the last couple streams. They gave us plugs. I was going to do that last time, but that I forgot to do that last Thursday. So I want to put a little plug out there for them to go check them out. They're actually they're getting close to 1,000 subs. So go out there, check them out, give them some love. Though they should be 1,000. I think they're 833 now or something like that. But they have Discord as well. But go over and check them out. Great fellows, very knowledgeable people over there. If you're into baseball right now, so yeah.
Well, let's like Jay said, piggybacking on what Jay was saying. Let's get those boys to 1,000 subs. And the baseball season, man. Uh, Middle of July. I mean, this is prime time for if you're doing fantasy baseball. What they got best ball for baseball too, or is best ball just a football thing?
Oh yeah, they got best ball. I'm actually
So whatever your thing is, you do DFS, you do whatever. I mean, there's so many different things going on right now with baseball, and we're actually gonna go. That's right, baby. That's right. We're going to a Twins game at the end of August, so we're going to check out. Yeah. We're gonna head out to the. We live in South Dakota, but we're head out to the cities and we'll go check out a Twins game. So that'll be a little bit of fun. But so we're getting baseball fever. Govier, he wakes up with baseball fever. And the boys over at Palazzo. So like Jay was saying, go show him some love and Don, our good friend Donovan too. Donovan does baseball content for our side of things. Splitting seeds. So support him as well.
Yes.
Lots of goodies. We're kind of we cover the football stuff, and we got we got it's like a web. We got other guys covering the baseball.
Yeah, it kind of sucks, man. Because I mean I would love to be streaming to X right now, but whatever. It is what it is.
We got to fit. Well, we Twins go Braves. Anthony's back again. He heard a rumor that the Falcons were going to be talked about tonight. Okay, that's why he's here. That's why he's
sweet Jesus.
Yep. Like the old guy from Family Guy said, Jesus. Bubs is back. Yeah, I mean we have a few people in. We'll have to figure out the Twitter thing. I still call it Twitter. I mock it. And now that they want to make us subscribe to be able to make get the show out more, that's something we'll have to discuss, and we'll have to see pricing options. But yeah, obviously it feels good when you got more view, when you're looking up and you have more eyeballs on the product. And obviously Twitter's got a huge platform, so some we'll have to discuss. But we keep having to we're I feel like we're in a video game. We're dodging hurdles every week. Like we're dodging bullets. YouTube YouTube's the only thing is in the trenches with us. So we love YouTube, and Twitch too. I mean, Twitch and YouTube are going to have to be the go-tos until we can figure this out.
Damn right. That's for damn sure. So whoever's viewing tonight, so we are hitting up that AFC. I almost said AFC again. NFC South. We're gonna hit up those Falcons, Buccaneers, Saints, and then we got the Panthers on hand. So I mean, I have most of my notes for most of the teams besides not the Saints. But
we'll get into the Saints here in a minute, but they really are. There's a perception about them that's just not true. I mean, we bash the Falcons all the time, but the Falcons have more talent than the Saints. I mean, and definitely the Bucs do. I mean, Saints are kind of, I don't know. There's blah. I wouldn't. I mean, there's only a couple, like handful of players on the Saints I would want. So we'll get into them, and obviously Panthers. I'm wearing the Bucs polo here. You know what I mean? I'm wearing the Bucs polo, but it's also the Falcons are red too. So I'm covering two things at once. Maybe during our intermission, maybe I'll go put on some black for the Panthers and Saints. I don't know, but it should be interesting. Is there any headlines or is anybody that's watching right now? If you want to comment on anything you've seen in the news the last week, obviously. I think, Bubba might want to talk about the Jordan Addison situation, or there's a couple of, Bub Means from the aforementioned Saints. Bub Means might be banged up. He's the, kind of the wizard so far of the offseason, kind of the guy that's rising up the ranks, the fifth rounder from Pitt. And, we love us some Bub Means. So there's a couple different topics. Anything you want to jump into, Jay, of the mainstream news?
Not too much. I mean, we just, the whole, yes, Bubba, we're going to talk about some Bucks today. Just the whole Jordan Addison thing, just real quick.
Seize the day.
Let's make sure we, those damn Vikings, I tell you. It just sounds horrible in general.
It's his entrance music, but when he's passed out drunk behind the steering wheel, that's what wakes him up. It's his alarm on his phone. Is the ooh.
Yeah, it's sad to see, one of their teammates, ends up, dying in a car crash because, some drunk person decides to just, swerve and whatnot. And, a week later, here we have Addison, who is like, "Oh, I'm gonna get drunk too." I mean, if that is the case, I mean, that's a poor representing of yourself, what happened. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think he should be suspended, a few games to kind of wake up. I mean, what, just kind of thinking back on a lot of these things, you know, somebody says, "Oh, these actions," even like Ollie Gordon, who, he got a DUI too. It seemed, somebody was saying, "Oh, it's not the money that makes this happen." It's like, hey, money is a factor for a lot of these decisions a lot of people make. NIL money or whatever it is. The money is there for these people. Like, oh, hey, well, I can just go out there and buy. I mean, it's to me, I think it's a small factor to a lot of these things that do happen. If you don't have the money, you're not gonna make poor decisions. But if you got the money, of course, you're gonna make some poor ass decisions.
Well, I mean, throughout the years, a lot of these guys got money under the table.
Well,
You know what I mean?
well, you know what I mean. If you didn't have the real money, you're not gonna make stupid
Yeah,
decisions. But if it's there in your pocket, like, oh shit, let's go do.
What did Diddy say back in the day? More money, more problems.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, it's a track record with this guy. Got busted. I think he was doing like 140 and a 55 last summer. This summer,
it was before he even started. Like before the
just
season.
in the cities. I can just,
Yeah.
I mean, I can just imagine. I mean, there's some morons in Sioux Falls. I mean, I hear some kids drag racing, but not professional athletes. It's like, dude, you got a pretty privileged life.
Yeah,
I mean,
it is.
You made a shit ton of money, a shit ton of NIL money at USC. He's undoubtedly the Vikings' number 2 receiver. He's going to get a second contract. The guy's that good. You know what I mean? And we see what number 2 receiver, like high-end number 2 receivers are getting now. I mean, these guys are
most definitely
25, 27 million. Insane.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, Bub said Addison's second boo-boo in a car. Yeah, exactly. It's a track record with this guy at this point. But like I said, talent trumps everything. If this was KJ Osborne, the former Vikes receiver who was a little lower on the depth chart, a little less important, I mean, a guy like that would get cut.
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
2 instances like this in consecutive summers, they wouldn't even. It's like, dude, you're not worth the hassle. Like we could draft a 4th round guy to replace you right now. That's just as good. Talking Jordan Addison, it's like and we don't want to use the analogy. Well, he got away with murder because I mean Henry Ruggs literally did that. You know what I mean? So did Dante Stallworth back in the day. I mean, we've had some receivers actually fucking kill people. So, and with and like you were mentioning, what happened with his teammate, I don't know. I don't know how much different he is than Rashee Rice. Honestly, I mean they might be in the same category.
Yeah, I probably would assume so. I'm making poor decisions, and hell, Marquise Brown got he was speeding off to freaking to the field, and he got pulled over doing like 100 and some odd bucks. So it's just like, dude,
the hell, yeah, like, dude, what do you ever hear any of this shit about Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes? You don't hear any. That's why they're quarterbacks. That's why they're the leaders. That's why they make the most amount of money. That's why they have the biggest endorsements. You don't hear. It's not. It's always skill position guys or it's defensive players that pull this shit. It's because if a quarterback pulled it, like I said, they would like Baker Mayfield had to beat that, and he's matured a lot. But like Baker, it took years for Baker to get that off his. What happened when he was at Oklahoma, where he was running from the cops. It took him years to beat that rep.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And Dak got a DUI. I think when he was back in college at Mississippi State. So I think Dak, it took a while for him to beat that. So if you're a quarterback, I mean, there's damn near zero margin for error. But with these, like I said, these skill position guys, they can kind of get away with whatever. And I'm glad it wasn't worse. You know what I mean? It's like, we've all speeded. I mean, we've all speeded, man. I mean, you know, it's like, I get it. You're young guy, high testosterone, you know, a lot of money, you know, a
Yeah,
lot of
yeah.
status, a lot of clout. You know, I get it, man. But
Hell, if these guys didn't have the money and they're trying to run around a little Miata, I can only do maybe 60 miles an hour or even 40, and it's a different story,
he's in a Rolls Royce, man. I mean,
right? It's just saying
dumb.
it is. It's a lot of it. I think a lot of things kind of go unhidden sometimes, but not always. But you kind of hear gifs and pieces
Yeah,
of things like this.
especially the Vikings. Remember that sex boat back in the day? Remember like it was like Fred Smoot, Dante Culpepper.
I think I remember some of that. Yeah.
Vikings have had a lot of this stuff. Bubba knows a lot of
Yeah.
these instances over the years.
Yeah. It's
God,
insane.
Yeah.
Other than that, I think that's kind of more of the most of the headlines. That's kind of I kind of said my piece to the whole Jordan Addison thing, but it is what it is. People are gonna make stupid decisions. That's just part of life. This is how we are now. It's money. People say, oh, no, money isn't a factor. Money is a factor in a lot of these decisions.
Well, I mean, yeah, obviously money's probably the biggest, but who your friends are.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that too.
A lot of these guys, like, the other sports, they keep you more isolated. Baseball, golf, like even basketball. Extent, like a lot of this stuff. I mean, you're born and bred to do that shit. You're 6 years old and they have you. It's like, okay, we're going to make you a baseball player. We're going to make you a pro golfer someday. We're going to make you a tennis player. Like football is just more acquired. It's just like freakish athletic guys that pick it up as mainly there's Pop Warner, but like teenagers and they just, I don't know, these guys come from different walks of life, and yeah, it's just, I mean, I could go more in depth on it, but we got to get to other topics. But it's it's always, it just seems like it's always receivers now. It just seems like these receivers their contracts are out of control, their behavior's out of control. Like these receivers are just it's running rampant. I'd say the last 4 or 5 years, it seems like the most amount of people getting in trouble in the league are receivers.
Yeah,
so
yeah. You don't really hear too much about running backs, all too often.
I mean, honestly, Jay, I think Joe Mixon. I mean, this has been years now. I think Joe Mixon was like the last running back that had like a major headline like this.
Yeah, yeah. Well, enough NFL news. I think it's time for us to hit these previews and get at it. And
yeah. Well, that's why they're here. But we'd have more people here if it wasn't for Twitter.
That damn X. Well, it's okay. I guess I'm streaming to my Facebook profile for reviews, I guess, or whatever. But there's no one there. It's funny thing is that all my Facebook is mostly all tractors. Yeah, I'm a tractor lover. I'm a farm boy. Yeah, so that's not
the only thing he likes to do with his tractors.
So there's no fantasy football guys on my friend lists of Facebook. So it is what it is.
You know what? I got a remedy for that. And I think you might have a soundbite too. I have a team that's going to fix your problems, and you might have a soundbite that's going to fix our problems.
Maybe. I don't know. It's hard saying.
It's on my mind. Is it coming?
Is it coming? Is it the Saints? Is it the Saints?
No, we ain't doing the Saints come marching in. We ain't doing none of that bullshit. Falcons used to have the dirty bird. We ain't doing no dirty bird here. No, not Panthers. Nobody gives a shit about the Panthers. Have you met a Panthers fan? Exactly.
No. Okay. No, not at all.
The team that you need, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Go.
All right.
Good. It's never not gonna feel good. Yeah. Talking about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers here. Look at the background. This should almost be a Homer edition. I mean, you thought the Cowboys episode was bad, the NFC East. You haven't seen nothing yet.
I don't know. Is the AFC South better than the NFC South? I mean, maybe we can label the Tennessee and Cardinal or the Panthers at the same level.
That's actually a good debate.
Yeah,
I'd say that. You know what? I'd say the AFC South. I say the AFC South is better.
yeah,
Because I think the Colts can make the playoffs. I know the Texans will. I think the Colts could possibly make the playoffs if the Jags actually figure their shit out and Trevor Lawrence doesn't play like a fucking bum. I mean, they could have a shot at the playoffs. I mean, Titans are junk, but I mean,
yeah.
with this division, it's going to be a one-team division. It's going to be your favorite team, my favorite team, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That's the only team coming out of this division that's making the playoffs. I'll tell you that right now.
Damn right. That's what I got to say. I think the Bays will be the team to beat in this division. The Saints are kind of borderline. I just don't have no faith in. Everybody's like, oh, Atlanta. They're going to be the team to beat this year. I don't think so.
What kind of crack are they smoking?
Hey, it must be some good stuff.
Falcons? You kidding me? I sound like Jim Mora. Playoffs,
right? Playoffs. Yeah, I don't know.
Playoffs. Jay's gonna pull up a lot of the metrics of the Bucks, and if you're new to our show or coming across us, on the bottom
playoffs?
Here,
Don't talk about it. Playoffs? You kidding me? Playoffs? I just hope we can win a game.
It's fucking funny. So I'll put my top 5. It's basically in order of importance, or not exactly point. Because a quarterback's going to score more points than a tight end, or and vice versa, receiver and running back. So I put it like who I think the best fantasy players are 1 through 5, and then we'll have a couple of honorable mentions. So you know what? We'll kick it off. We'll kick it off right. Rachaad White, greatest soundbite ever. Thank you, Bubs. Yes, I agree. We'll start. Anthony's with his shifty eyes. Rachaad White, and this could be debated. If you want to argue Mike Evans, I go with Rachaad White because Rachaad White's younger and he's versatile, and I think he's only getting better. Mike Evans is obviously, we say he's old as dirt. I mean, he's not that old. I think he's 31. But
30.
30. The guy's still 30. I mean, so he's, DeAndre Hopkins is still going. DeAndre Hopkins early 30s. Keenan Allen early 30s. He's still. Keenan Allen almost had a career year last year. So Mike Evans might still have a lot in the tank. So if you wanted to argue Rachaad White and Mike Evans, 1A or 1 and 2. That'd be a great debate, but Rachaad White, 990 rushing yards last year, 549 receiving. So well over 1,500 total yards, 9 total touchdowns. Just a solid, and that's why I put the Bucks 1. There's no McCaffrey here. There's no Josh Allen here. There's no elite guy of any of the fantasy, but they have a lot of good to very good fantasy guys, especially skill position. And that's where we don't fuck, like we always mention, we fuck with kickers or defensive players. We know those are involved in leagues sometimes, but it's mainly skill position because that's the big thing. But yeah, Rachaad White, I think that's great value too, where he's being drafted. If he's the 13th running back coming off the board. Can you name 12 running backs better than Rachaad White, especially after last year? The guy was the number 4 running back in PPR fantasy last year.
Yeah. Let's see here. Rachaad White is actually, well, if it all came down to it, I'd probably do, Easteen, Gibbs, but after him, you got Josh Jacobs, A-Chain.
Josh Jacobs ain't better. No, not at this point. Josh Jacobs ain't better than Rachaad White.
No, if I missed out on White, I would be fine with guys like Derrick Henry or Kamara, which is another guy. Maybe even James Cook's a little bit.
I'll pass. That's fine. For your perspective, and I might be a little biased. He's my guy, but I'd take him over any, just for what he does with both aspects. He's almost not as good. Alvin Kamara is a Hall of Fame level guy. When Alvin Kamara was in his prime, there was no better dual threat. between catching, running, touchdowns, like the whole package. Alvin Kamara was it, 5 years ago in his, 4 or 5 years ago in his prime. But right now, I mean, Rachaad White's a close version to that, and so I put him. I don't know. What do you think? Do you think he should be number one? You said where he should fall with those other running backs, but in terms of the Bucs, do you think he's ahead of Mike Evans in terms of like fantasy or importance?
It all depends on if you're going, running back or wide receiver heavy. I mean, either or one of. I mean, one of these two guys are coming. And I think Mike Evans might be coming off the board before White. But I mean, either way, I mean, for me, I would draft both these guys. In the receiving game, quick too. I mean, White had about 549 yards in the receiving game, and that was third best, behind Brian Robinson, ESTN, Kamara, so I mean, Hall and McCaffrey were the two guys up top. I mean, for a dual threat guy, and if you don't get Hall or McCaffrey, I think White would be the better guy to have, especially coming from the Bucs. I mean, with what he did last year, he didn't have 1,000 yards, but I mean, pretty damn close. But I mean, almost damn near 600 receiving yards. Hell, why not? I mean, I'm always kind of skeptical a lot of times when I'm like, oh, a dual threat running back, or just a guy who just, like just like a Derrick Henry who doesn't really do a whole lot in the receiving game, just more of a pounder. So I mean, it all to me, like, all varies. It's kind of like opening your eyes a little bit, because I was like, Rachaad White, and that's why we kind of go through these. I'm like, oh, Rachaad White. And I didn't have any shares of him last year, so it's kind of like, oh, interesting. Well, maybe I'll have some shares of him this year. He's kind of that dual threat guy. And there's another guy we'll kind of talk about too, that's very similar to actually Rachaad White as well.
Yeah. Rachaad White, I have no problem. I guess I think he could go a little bit higher. That's why a lot of these guys have value. A lot of these Buck guys we're talking about tonight, these guys have value where they're going. Jay's better about having the information in front of him in terms of rounds, like what round they're going in, but just strictly, average draft position per position. That's why I list like 13, 17, 22, because that's where they're going per their position. I think there's a lot of great value in all 5 of these guys, honestly. I think Chris Godwin kind of is where he should be, where he's going as a number 2 receiver. He's a good number 2 receiver, not a great. But yeah, Mike Evans at 17, I like that a hell of a lot. I mean, the guy had fucking 13 touchdowns last year. Enough said. Baker Mayfield at quarterback 22. Baker had over 4,000 yards, 28 touchdowns last year. Doesn't give you a lot in the running game, in terms of like, passing, rushing yards and rushing touchdowns, but makes up for it in other ways. He only threw 10 picks, so he doesn't turn the ball over a bunch. Godwin, like I was mentioning, I mean, even Godwin had 104 catches on 130 targets, over 1,000 yards last year. Didn't score a lot of touchdowns, but he still led the team in catches. So I mean, he's still got his role, and then you got Cade Otton, and tight end 22. That's maybe where he should be, in that range. But I saw a couple of performances where I'm like, he could be a top 20 fantasy tight end. He's got that capability. I mean, there's some. He's never going to be a high end guy. I mean, let's not confuse him, with Laporta, McBride, Hawkinson, guys like that. We're not putting him in that. He'd never be in that category, but he could be a solid, like in that Tyler Conklin range. I think he's better than Okonkwo from the Titans, who we talked about last week. I think Cade's a better tight end than he is, or more productive.
I think these guys are kind of. I think Cade and Chig
Hunter
will be
Henry. I guess Jay.
Yeah.
I think Hunter Henry could be a comp, or
I think
he's solid.
I think all 3 of these guys are probably much in the same boat, because well, Baker's not really rookie, but rookie up there, and the another rookie. So I mean, a lot of check downs. That's very possible. And Baker, tossing up, almost 2,000 some yards between, Evans and Godwin, just chucking the ball. So I mean, I think Godwin's kind of in that same boat there. Godwin is actually going into 6th round. I was looking at my best ball draft here with a bunch of other content creators in the space here. So Godwin went in the 6th round, and I was trying to see where I think
Who does it say in front of you, Jay? Who are some of the guys that are around Godwin?
Well, Jaden Reed, Odunze, Marquise Brown, Calvin Ridley, McConkley, Rice. So kind of some of those guys right there were kind of going around in that draft or in that round right there.
I'll take him.
So,
I'll take him over. Obviously we've yet to see with the rookies with Odunze and McConkey from the Chargers, but the rest of those guys, the veteran guys, I'd take Godwin over just about any of them.
Yeah, Godwin went in. Evans went in the 4th round too. So I mean, Evans in the 4th.
Damn good value.
Yep, Evans in the 4th, and then Godwin in the 6th or 8th, whatever. Oh, 8th round. Yeah, 8th round. Sorry, man. I thought it was 6th. 8th round. 8th round there. So,
and until I've learned this with even D-Hop to an extent. D-Hop, Keenan Allen. I think these guys are just they might be taking care of their bodies better than the previous generations. Because we think of a certain age like, okay, you're a running back, you're a receiver, you're going to lose a step, you're going to kind of go off a cliff, and until proven otherwise, just keep drafting Mike Evans. Keep drafting him.
Right.
Let some dummy in your league try to trade for him. I guess if you're doing best ball, you ain't got to worry about none of that. But let some dummy make a mistake, get impatient. Look at him. Look at what he's projected at. Okay, and Fantasy Pro. I use Fantasy Pro as Jay uses Sleeper.
Yeah.
But you can average the two. So 8 to 9 touchdowns, 1,100 to 1,150 yards, and that's like that. And that's most of these are modest estimates. They really are. Most of these are very, they're and so Mike Evans had 1,255 yards. He's never been a big catch guy. He's not going to go out and catch 130 balls or anything, but he's always going to get the yards and the touchdowns. And at the end of the day, the guy was ranked number 7 last year. I don't think anybody would have thought that. He was the number 7 receiver in standard PPR last year. So Mike Evans still has a ton of value. Like I said, Chris Godwin as well. The rook, Jalen McMillan. I think you should pull up the running back screen again. I apologize. I didn't get into them much.
Yeah.
And then we'll get into. I'll put my graphic up for McMillan, and we can talk about the rest of the Bucs running back depth chart. But Bucky Irving, we did a pre-draft profile on Bucky. We called it the college spotlight. So we're shamelessly, yep. Where am I pointing? Go and check that out. So we did a whole profile, and the Bucs weren't even listed. I wasn't even thinking Tampa. I had some other the usual suspects for teams that need running backs. But yeah, Bucky, happy to have him. He was damn good at Oregon, and the projections there I think are very fair. I think that's very. I think they're very low end. I think Bucky could do, especially if something happens to Rachaad White. It's always a possibility. Rachaad White doesn't really have an injury history, but he's really only been a feature guy for a year. So if he carries the workload again, Bucky would be a serviceable fill-in. He's not at Rachaad White's level right now, but he'd be a serviceable fill-in guy. It's somebody. I don't know what size league. Like if you're doing a redraft league, like what size league would it take for you to draft Bucky?
I would take him in I think you can draft him in a 12-man league. 10 me.
So in stash him on the bench.
Yeah, I would. I think right away. I know a guy. It's kind of hard to determine from dynasty to redraft, and guys. I would take Bucky for sure. He's going to be. Chase Edmonds. He didn't really do a whole lot.
No, Chase Edmonds shot. Chase Edmonds hasn't had a relevant game in a couple of years since he was with the Cardinals.
Yeah. So yeah, that's my thought, and I believe Bucky is actually getting drafted. I was going to take a look at my best ball drafts here, but just overall in general, he's pretty much another Rachaad White. I was looking at what Rachaad White did in most of his years. Bucky Irving did that with the Ducks. Dude, he had 400, 500 yards in the receiving game. Not as many as touchdowns, but he's very damn his signature is actually the same as Rachaad White's. So if White does go down, Bucky is the next guy right in place.
That's what, that's what I love about it. There's no big real bruiser here.
No,
I mean, you don't have a Braylon Allen, you don't have a Derrick Henry here, you don't have a big goal line kind of back, but it's nice to have insurance. I think that's what Bucky is right now. He's insurance for Rachaad White. So if something happens, okay, hey, we have a guy that's similar. Might not be as good, but he's similar, and was electric at Oregon. A little bit further down the depth chart, Sean Tucker. He was the kid from Syracuse we took last year. I expected more out of him. I know it's only been a year, but I think he's just going to be a rotation guy. If that, he's one of those guys. He'll be lucky to have a roster spot. You know what I mean? So
yeah, it also depends on your bench size too. But Bucky went like in this best ball. He went in the 17th round.
That's hell yeah. I signed 17th round.
Yeah,
damn near. Yeah, it's the end of the draftable players, pretty much. Yeah, sign me up. I'll take him there. I mean, that's hell yeah.
See, Jalen Wright, 15th round. McLaughlin, not really rookie. 16th round. Ray Davis, 16th. Braylon Allen, 16th round. He'll be the backup to Brees. So I mean, a lot of those rookies that are a lot of these rookies that are kind of like the filling in, kind of like in that RB2 are going later in a lot of your drafts, where it's very possible that Bucky. I think honestly Bucky will he'll actually end up getting a few touchdowns this year.
I think so too. I think Bucky between receiving and rushing, if I were to guess, I think he can get 5 or 6 touchdowns.
I could probably see 5. I think 5. Yeah.
I don't think that's
kind of. Yeah, I think 5, maybe one receiving touchdown in there, so maybe 6 total in general for, maybe a beginning year. Cause I mean, if you think about it, Bucky's actually got some legit speed to him. I was going to pull out all my notes to see what I had for him, but I mean, he's good in the pass game, kind of a dual threat guy. I mean, I think he, good vision and all that good stuff with him and whatnot. But I was just going to say, let's see here. I think, Evans hits his 11th 1,000-yard season, and
yep.
I want to see that happen. I think, but the Godwin is very TD dependent because he put up 1,000 yards, but he didn't have Hurley, and he had only 2 touchdowns last year. So I think he'll play in a slot, but I think he'll end up being very, very, very touchdown dependent. So now the wide receiver 3 real quick, Palmer and McMillan. I think those 2 guys are going to be very inseparable. I think they're pretty real similar. I mean, I love Palmer. I got him on my dynasty. I mean, he's kind of a raw talent yet. McMillan, I think, a little bit slightly better, but I think overall these 2 guys will probably end up being their future. If they do stay there, just because Evans getting old, Godwin's kind of getting up there too as well. So hopefully McMillan and Palmer can maybe be their future kind of in the next couple of years. Hopefully that kind of pans out. Those are just my thoughts in general there. But yeah, other than that, the whole Bucky thing, I think he's the RB2 in this offense and dual threat guy.
Yeah, and we won't go any further down the depth chart. Like I said, Sean Tucker will be a guy that's lucky to make a roster spot. Chase Edmonds, he's older and kind of irrelevant, but at least he's been a proven NFL running back. So Chase Edmonds will make the team. So no worries about that. He'll be RB3. Coughing up that bullshit, but there's no bullshit here with Jalen McMillan. Yeah, like LA Knight said. Yeah, I have him. I have his comp as Khalil Shakur. We remember now McMillan. A lot of it due to injury his senior year. This past year at Washington, but he had junior year. He led all those. We know how good those Washington receivers are. I mean, 3 of them were drafted in the top 92 picks. You know what I mean?
Damn right.
Polk, and of course McMillan. So we know that lethal
I am
trio.
McLovin.
Yeah, McLovin. But yeah, so in his it would have been his junior year 2 years ago. McMillan led all the receiving corps in targets. Had almost 1,100 yards, 79 catches. Like I said, last year he missed 4 games, so his stats weren't as good. Had about 66 targets, 560 yards roughly, 5 touchdowns. So If you throw a couple games back in, I mean, he could have been closer to. It's pedestrian. I know it's receiver 3 numbers, but I mean that Washington, that was one of the best trios of receivers in college in recent memory. I mean that's right up there with some of those Alabama teams.
Yeah, McMillan was the guy there.
Jay, there's nothing wrong with being the number 3 receiver on that Washington team from last year. I mean,
no. I mean, if you think about it, McMillan was already the wide receiver 1 before they got these, Polk and Penix in them, because I mean he was already like, I think he got injured.
He's a 4-year guy. He wasn't an NIL guy. I mean, he was a 4-year Washington guy.
Yeah, pretty much. And I mean, I think he got injured, which is why he ended up being down the depth chart a little bit. I think ACL, I don't remember exactly, but I think he ended up getting injured, which is why, Rome came in and Polk in there and whatnot. And then Penix came in there. So I believe that's what happened with McMillan, which is why he didn't come back right away this season, I believe.
Yeah, I'd have to look it up. I thought it was something with his foot or knee or. I don't have that in front of me. Maybe Jay can look it up when I'm talking, but just so we have I think that was one of the concerns of him coming out would have been like, he's got a slender build and he put on some weight though. I mean, he got up to, I think he was 197 at the combine. So he's usually plays around, he was 180 a couple years ago. Now he plays about 192. So he definitely put on some weight, runs a 4.47. So, he's got a little bit of giddy up in him. Like we mentioned, he was the 3rd round pick, 92nd overall. The 2024, the 2023 stats, like I said, they weren't as good, but the 2022 stats, like we mentioned, that would have put him probably as the number 1 receiver with Washington, definitely with targets. Because Odunze didn't become Odunze until last year. Polk didn't, kind of become Polk until last year. So, he basically went from receiver 1 to receiver 3. But in terms of the Bucs, I like Shakur as a comp. I do. Similar size, similar speed. He was a 5th rounder from Boise State. We know what kind of career he had. Boise State. He was electric, and I think he got hated on because he was from a smaller school. But it's like Boise's produced some really good NFL players. So I don't know about all that, but. I don't know. What do you think about Khalil Shakur? The Draft Buzz had Jalen Tolbert listed, but I think Jalen McMillan's gonna be better than Jalen Tolbert.
Oh yeah. I think he's as far as comp wise, I think McMillan's a little bit better. All in general. I mean, Tolbert, smaller school, such and such.
South Alabama.
I think McMillan's a little bit better than Tolbert. I think he's even a little bit taller than Shakur. I think Shakir is more of a slot guy, smaller guy. I mean, maybe similar.
I think that's how they're going to use McMillan in the pros, though. I think the Bucs, like he's listed as a multi-role, like a versatile receiver. But I think the Bucs, I think their plan is they're going to let Godwin walk after this year, or I'm not sure how many years are left in Godwin's contract, but I think they're going to let Godwin go after 2024. And I think McMillan would basically become the starting slot. So I think he's gonna be eased in to a starting role, if not year 1. I mean, this kid, he's been blowing it up so far in the off season. So we'll see. But do you think he can be better than Polk? Like, I don't know about Odunze. That's a tall task because Odunze is a blue chipper. I mean, Odunze should be, eventually at least a top 15, receiver at some point, right? He's got that level of skill, like a top 15 fantasy receiver at some point. I don't know. Who would you rather have? Would you rather have Jalen Polk or Jalen McMillan?
Right now, I think I would go Polk just because they have.
What about the Patriots fucking him up?
I just think that Polk right there has more of an opportunity to actually see more targets, get more, see more playing time than McMillan because he got 2 guys in front of them. He's got Evans and Godwin, so that kind of beats the purpose of him. So I mean, he's kind of in that JSN role. You got Palmer in there a little bit. So I mean,
I didn't want to go there because like JSN is. I mean, we saw some snapshots as a rookie. I mean, I don't know what JSN's ceiling is, but just, first round guy, kind of a blue chipper from Ohio State. I didn't want to like blow my load too much and push this guy like, okay, this guy's going through the roof. He's in the stratosphere here. So I tried to keep it modest, and I was like, well, Khalil Shakur I don't think he'll ever be like a 1,200 yard receiver or like kind of what Amon,
I think
Amon's Roz has become from the Lions, but
I think he's border. I think
Shakur should have 900 to 1,000 yards with the Bills this year. Like I think
borderline.
I think McMillan with the right amount of targets and I think he could reach as like his ceiling. I think he could reach 900 to 1,000 yards some season.
Oh yeah, I can see that happening for sure because I was just looking at it and I believe
he'll pay off in Dynasty. If you're playing Dynasty, like McMillan's, he's a long play. You're not going to get, like I said, these other guys are going to pass him year one, I think. But if you're playing the long game with him, year 2, year 3, year 4, I think he's going to pass a lot of these receivers up that are more, that came off the board earlier or more highly touted. Because he's got, I mean, he does. He some of the catch. I mean, go watch his YouTube highlight. Go watch the reel. I mean, the guy's got great hands, runs great routes. They always talk about the route tree. Well, he can run every route. I mean, the guy can do anything you ask him to do. I think he could be an outside X receiver if you wanted him to be. Like, I think he can do anything you ask this guy to do. I think he's very versatile.
So pretty much, the Bucs can actually cut Godwin pre June 1st. So they can cut him and be no.
I think that's what's going to happen. I really
And then if he did stay on there, they would have to owe him like 11 million or something along those lines. Just looking at over the cap here, post June 1, I believe they would have to owe him like 11,000 or 11 million if he was still on the cap, but he can be a post pre-1 cut. So, yep.
So yeah, Godwin's good as gone. So yeah, these young guys are. What's this? Buck talk? Where's the Packer talk? We talked about the Packers a couple weeks ago, Donovan. You were there for that, big boy. You know better. This is my time. This is our time. Yeah, I'm wearing a Buck polo here, man. Look at the screen. It looks like the sun's about to burn my eyes out here. We got so much orange and red going on. Jay's got the orange hat. I mean, this is all out Buck talk. I mean, this made my day here. And Trey Palmer, I'll close with him. Those aren't bad projected stats. I don't think it's one of those things. It's kind of like the Packers. It's like people were saying, "Oh, Jordan Love can't play. You can't beat out Rodgers." It's like he's Aaron fucking Rodgers. Like he's Mike fucking Evans. Okay, if you're sitting behind the learning tree, if you're learning behind Mike Evans and Chris Godwin's pretty damn good too. I mean, if you're learning behind these two, sitting behind these two, nothing wrong with that. Trey Palmer might be a starter, in 2025. You don't know. Yeah, this year I think it's have modest stats again, but Trey Palmer, I've seen some flashes where I like a lot. Jay likes him a lot too.
Yeah, I mean he came from the Huskers. I mean he had 68 targets. I think he was the third he was third in target share when it came to team snap. He was on the field. Target share too as well. He was out there quite a bit too. And so it's crazy to think about. And he had a couple touchdowns. He had a couple, so 3 touchdowns in his first rookie season, which is not bad. A few flashes, 385 yards, not bad. But I mean, 68 targets isn't too shabby, with Palmer. I mean,
he on every show. We got some Packer talk in there. I was just talking up your boy Jordan Love here.
No. So that's why I think McMillan and Palmer, I think they'll be kind of vice versa throughout the season. I think, unless McMillan actually proves something, then Palmer will probably end up being the 4, which I really don't want to see that being the 4. I kind of want Palmer to take that next step. He'll kind of be the borderline 3. But Palmer, he's just kind of a raw talent yet, though.
And you know what? I don't see. We'll take a look just for shits and giggles. We'll look at the rest of the depth chart, and it's Sterling Shepard. You see, he loves him. But I'm like, dude, I think he's finally found his niche with Tampa. he's going to be like a number 5 receiver, which is what he should have been. And this, I think this Bucks, I think we're going to win the division again. I think this is a playoff team. So this is a good team. He's been rotting away with the Giants all these years. He should have been a number 4, number 5 on a good team. The Chiefs, the Ravens, some team like that. He should have been a rotational guy. He was miscast with the Giants. And now with Tampa, I think, and he'll get a little bit of work. I mean, one of these guys is going to get hurt. That's just the law of averages. This is the fucking NFL. Like, one of these guys is going to get hurt. And Sterling Shepard, we'll see his day in the sun. Jarrett, the other, I'm not much on him. And then the rest of these guys are pretty much just, practice squad or guys are going to get cut. So like we were saying, it's mainly these 4 guys, maybe a little bit of Sterling Shepard will be the Bucks. Yeah. I think those are the 5 Bucks receivers that I'll be getting some usage this year, or major usage.
Yeah, and the other thing too is Shepard is back with Baker. They were college teammates, so that's
yep.
So that might be a little bit plus. So if you think about it, the first couple years, Shepard saw 105 targets and 107 targets. Other than that, it's been pretty much 83 to 90 some odd targets here and there. His first year, 8 touchdowns, and it just pretty much skimmed off after that. 4, 3, 1. So, and he had too many injuries.
We know who was playing quarterback the last few years for the Giants. Why that would happen?
Yeah.
Don't even get me started on the damn Giants.
No.
Bucks tight end. Just real quick, tight end room. There's nobody behind Cade Otton. Kieft, Payne Durham. Like, no, dude. The kid they took in the 7th round. Like, it's and that's why I put Cade Otton at 5. I mean, you could argue some other guys maybe should have been in that 5 spot. Maybe Bucky. Maybe another one of the receivers. But Trey Palmer. But I put Otton at 5 because who the hell is going to take targets away from him? The guy got, how many targets he get last year? Got 67 targets, 4 touchdowns. I mean, Cade Otton, he's, like I said, there's nobody to challenge him. It's not like they took a tight end in the 3rd round or they signed somebody. I mean, it's Cade Otton's job. There's no way any of these guys are going to beat him out.
Yeah, no, not at all. I was going to see where Cade Otton went in our draft, our best ball draft here. Real quick. 14th round. So I mean, he's going super late.
It's fine. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, people sleeping on him. That's fine. He's like I said, he's not gonna. His best role, honestly, is a bye week guy. If you're just in a 12, 16 man week to week league, his best role is just a fill-in guy, or maybe he's got a good matchup. Maybe he could, if your tight end gets hurt, or he's a backup. He's a backup on your and a damn good backup. I'd love to have Cade Otton as my number 2 tight end. Absolutely.
He could probably be your streamer for the week. If you say you got a higher guy, he could be your streamer for the week.
Yeah, if you're doing best ball, he's had some 17, 14 point fantasy weeks. Like, he could be absolutely.
I would have to agree. I would use it. If I drafted him.
Get that man where's Anthony at? And that damn Josh, Josh who lives up here with us. He's a Falcons fan too. Get that damn Kyle Pitts off the screen. Look at him.
I don't like him either. We'll trash him later.
There's Baker.
Yeah.
Nobody, and that's another thing. Nobody, Kyle Trash. I call him Trash. He ain't taking. There ain't nobody. There ain't nobody coming for the king. There ain't nobody coming for Baker's crown. Baker is going to be the number 1 quarterback all year. Get used to it. Probably next year too. So get used to it. Those are attainable stats between what I had fantasy pros on the bottom and what Jay has. For a sleeper, I mean, these are attainable, between 24 to 26 touchdowns, probably around 10 picks.
Yeah, give or take in
10,
there, I'm
picks.
sure.
Just solid. Yeah, and he's going average draft position 22 for quarterback. I think that's very good value, because I could probably name a couple guys ahead of him that are coming off that I'd I'd much rather have Baker, especially having a few of these guys, Godwin, Evans, having Rashad White and Bucky out of the backfield catching passes.
Yippers.
I'd rather have Baker than I don't know who quarterback 19, 20, 21 are coming off the board, but a good chance I'd rather have Baker.
Watson,
probably that damn Deshaun. I know Deshaun Watson's one of them. I'd take Baker. Hell yeah, I'd take Baker over Deshaun Watson.
Aaron Rodgers, Drake May, Geno Smith.
Drake May's gonna be a bust. Geno's he's got probably a half year or a year left of starting before he goes back to the bench. You're telling me you're gonna take these guys over Baker?
Russell Wilson too. Then you got
exactly my point. Shut up. Shush. No, I'll get into Russ. Oh, that's coming up next week. Or we already did. Russ. I was thinking he was still with the Broncos for some reason. we already talked about Russ. No, he's right. He's gonna get benched. He's gonna get benched week 5.
So here's the funny thing. Baker is actually coming off the board before Derek Carr, Bryce Young, and I think even before Kirk Cousins.
I think Cousins
Kirk
probably
Cousins. Yep. Cousins, and then Mayfield a few rounds later. Yep. So I was just trying to look where Cousins was. So pretty much Baker, pretty much Cousins, Bakers for this division are pretty much the two guys you want. But at two QB leagues, I mean, all these guys are pretty much going to be. I mean, if I had to. I mean, I don't, everybody's hating on the Panthers, but I wouldn't mind a little maybe Bryce Young in a 2 QB league, for shits and giggles.
Don't say that. Don't.
I just did.
No. I need a drink. Oh no. No. Don't say that.
I know I might be in a Bryce Young this year. I don't know yet.
You might be. You know what? If he hits. You'll be the richest man in America. We'll put money down on Bryce Young having like 25 touchdowns and 6 rushing touchdowns or something. We'll have to put money down on that, but I don't see it coming. But we will get to Bryce here in a second. Any more thoughts on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers here?
You can get McMillan at the last round of your drafts.
That's damn for especially like I said, I think. His play is dynasty.
Yeah.
Dynasty, year 2, 2025 dynasty. I think that's his best value. Like, I think like Jay was saying, I think you can draft him, this year and redraft. But I'm saying, like, long term, his best value, I think, is 2025 in a dynasty league. Just hold on, just let him sit for a year and then go full steam ahead 2025.
I think, I mean, 12 man might be a little pushing it, but I think
16 man, I would take him in a heartbeat.
Yeah. I'm just gonna say, more of a deeper league. I think McMillan will be a great fit for deeper leagues like that.
So we did the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I feel better now. I feel cleansed. We have a lot of red going on here. We got a red drink, red Bucks polo. Red screen, orange screen. I feel like I'm laying on the beach in Tampa. This is fantastic. But my mood's about to shift. You know why that is, Jay? Because we got to talk about that's why I use their old logo. I use like the Zeke Brodkowski, the old school. Donovan knows what I'm talking about. The old school Falcons logo. I mean, pre Deion Sanders. I mean, we're talking. A lot of trash, a lot of 60s, 70s, 80s trash from this damn team. Because that's what they're doing now. Is a lot of mediocrity and a lot of trash.
Wait. I think I have
just like this shit. This is what I think of the Falcons here. Just gone.
Well, I think I have something for that.
Garbage goober, get out here and eat this garbage.
I love me some Rick and Morty. We got it. That's a bit on the show every week now. But we still have to. Bubba asked about. Some Bray Wyatt. We got to get a Yowie Wowie.
Yeah, I gotta try to find that. Yeah, that is a Wowie. That's for damn sure. Yeah,
get that.
This team is that.
There ain't nothing, but you ain't got to worry about this week because there ain't nothing Yowie Wowie about the Atlanta Falcons. I'll tell you that. I don't care what they tell you. Donovan Brady is coming back. The Falcons, maybe they're stupid enough to do it. This stupid team. Yeah, Anthony. Yeah, I did go there. Don't I do. I'm gonna do all I want. This stupid team here. Look at this. Look at this. They gave Kirk Cousins basically a 2-year fully guaranteed contract. They gave him a 4-year deal, but NFL money. This ain't NBA here. This ain't fully. Basically, they gave him 2 years fully guaranteed. And you drafted Michael Penix, number 8. We know what Michael Penix did in college. We know how good he was. They basically sabotaged the first 2 years of Michael Penix's career. He should be this. You know what I mean? They'd be in a kind of a rebuild mode. They kind of be where, like, instead of just overhyped expectations, they kind of be where the Vikings are at. With McCarthy and a good decent cast of characters around him, starting over with a young quarterback. They kind of be where they'd be treated like the same way the Vikings are. But no, we got to treat them with kids' gloves because these stupid idiots. They gave a fucking guy coming off. Yeah, we had the same reaction draft night when they took. We were watching it with Mike from VA. He had the same reaction too. Jay had the same reaction. We were like, "What the fuck? What are they doing?"
Yeah, pretty much. I was like, "What?" I could not believe that. I mean, total garbage, just total garbage. And it's just like people are like, "Oh, to me, he's dynasty dead." You're gonna sit on this guy for 2 years. 2 years.
Remember South Park, Jay? Remember South Park? You killed Kenny. You killed Michael. You killed Michael Penix. You killed him dead.
Yeah, pretty much. It's just like, hey, what's
I want to play a game.
They were like, I want to play a game.
This is great. You know what? I had my little rant there I'll get into the players here, but that's why Michael Penix is good enough. He should change the subject. Anthony's crying. You should be crying. Blame your damn GM. Is that Fontenot? He's gonna get fired. He's a moron. He's gonna get fired. Okay, for pulling that nonsense. But I had to get it in there. That's why you don't see Michael Penix in the top 5 here. Because guess what? If they didn't have Cousins in the way, Penix would be in the top 5 somewhere. I guarantee you that. With some of these weapons around him, Penix would be in my top 5. I guarantee you that. But number 1, I put Bijan Robinson. Why not? He's worth the hype. Worth the hype. Jay's got some of the receivers up, but rookie year had almost 1,500 all-purpose yards, 8 total touchdowns. We expect. For Bijan's he's in the conversation of like where Saquon, when Saquon was drafted, or when Zeke was drafted. So he's treated like that. So I expect more his second year. It was a damn good rookie year, but I expect even more. I'm thinking he can get maybe 1,700 all-purpose yards. This guy probably get 1,100 on the ground, 600 receiving. He should be reaching at least that. What do you think about Bijan being my number 1 and him being the 3rd running back off the board? I think that's a little too. Honestly, that might be a little too high because we know Brees is 2, we know CMC is 1. But you could argue with Saquon being behind that offensive line in Philly, Saquon might have an argument for 3. And we know A-Chain's coming with that Miami attack. So there's some guys coming for that number 3 spot, coming off the board. What do you think about Bijan as my number 1?
Congrats. Here's your Oakleys.
Yeah, I don't honestly, Bijan's he's that guy that everybody's loving. 4 touchdowns in the pass game, 4 touchdowns in the rush game. So that's eight total. This guy is versatile. I would not. If I had an opportunity to draft him, but I probably rather be going over CMC or Brees. So that's just me in general. I'm sure if it came to some DFS play, yeah, I'm down for. I'll probably slide Bijan in some of my DFS. Hell, maybe I might even just do parlays with this guy. Maybe he'll cash me some money or something. But as far as fantasy, I'll probably I'll probably pass him up. But maybe if I land in a certain spot. Hell, I might draft him in some redraft leagues, possibly.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think he's going too high at 3. Like if he's the 3rd running back coming off the board, I'm like, If he was like the 6th running back, sign me up.
Yeah,
absolutely. But 3, that's a little too high. But for the Falcons here, because Drake London's kind of been. I mean, he's been good, but he hasn't been great. Kirk Cousins coming off an injury. Kirk's been, I think, really good, but not like a great fantasy player. He ain't Josh Allen. You're not on that level. But he's been really good for a long time. Kyle Pitts, my thoughts on Kyle Pitts. He's fool's gold. And Darnell Mooney, why the hell not? Tyler Algier, you could argue. Tyler Algier is an honorable mention at 5. You could put him in there, but I think his role is going to diminish even more this year. I think they're going to put more on Bijan's plate. And McClellan, the kid from Alabama they drafted in the 6th round, I think McClellan's going to take away some touches from Algier as well. So that's why I didn't put Tyler Algier at 5. And I mean, who else is? Well, there's Michael Penix. I was thinking about it. I came this close. Anthony, listen to me. I came this close to putting Michael Penix at number 5. That close. I'm like, because Darnell Mooney had one good year in 2021. He had over 1,000 yards, and he got people's hopes up. Like, Mooney's gonna hit. He's gonna be a number 1 with the Bears. Wrong. So I came this close, Jay, to putting Penix at 5 just for shits and giggles. Because guess what? If Cousins does go down, Michael Penix is going to step in there and put up stats similar to Cousins day one. Day one, he will put up Kirk Cousins level stats. There's no there's no drop off. Michael Penix is that good. But
look at that.
The part I ripped them on is how do you take both of them? And how do you get it'd be one thing if Kirk Cousins had like 1 year left on his deal. It's like, okay, after this year, we're going to move to Michael Penix. Just plugs, waste. So far, this has no content. You weren't watching the rest of the show, my man. What do you think? What do you think, though?
Well, I was actually looking where Bijan was actually going here. And I know you did a lot of different plugs here with freaking Cousins and London and Pitts and just overall in general. Drake London.
I don't like talking about the Falcons. That's why. That's why there's a lot of plugs here. I'm gonna plug it in your butthole. Come here.
It's all right. It's just like the other guy that's on. It was made a comment last week. Oh, this has no content. Blah blah. Hey Mars, why don't you get online and jump in here with us here? Show your face if you're too chicken shit to jump online and make a little sassy ass comments, punk. But whatever, dude. But anyways, here's my thoughts. London, I think he's the one. Darnell Mooney probably plays some outside or inside. Rondale Moore he's kind of like a deep play. Ray McLeod. I just kind of put Ray McLeod in there, kind of so and so. But he's kind of a 4. To me, it doesn't really matter too much. To me, Drake London and Darnell Mooney are your guys in this offense. I other than that, I really don't really see anything else that's really like eye popping to me. Like, I want to draft these guys. So that's just my thoughts in general.
Oh, Ray McLeod, no. I think Scotty Miller is somewhere on the depth chart still. No,
pretty much.
It's two guys because there was even reports that they have like we'll get the Pitts here in a second, but they got Pitts lining up at receiver more. With the new Raheem Morris regime that came in, the coaching staff. So they've got him more at receiver. So maybe that might help Pitts' fantasy value. But in terms of receivers, like Jay was saying, it's London, it's Mooney, and a little bit of Rondale Moore. I think Rondale Moore probably do similar. Rondale will probably do similar stuff to what he did with Arizona. He's like a number 3 or number 4 receiver. That's just it is what he is.
Well. So here's my thoughts. Kirk Cousins, can Kirk Cousins come in here, lead his team? It's kind of a hopeless fate kind of. It's kind of like, he's here but not here. It's kind of like I was watching a different pod or another stream. They're talking about how the Bucs have a team but they can't get over the hump. Dallas has got a team, can't get over the hump. Atlanta, they're in the same situation. They got Kirk Cousins, hardly any good weapons, so they can Kirk Cousins get them over the hump to actually maybe be a contender. So those are my thoughts.
No,
Yeah, so I mean, London and Mooney are the 1 and 2. After that, this core kind of sucks. Ray, pretty much a no-name guy you don't want to stay away from. Um, Mooney will be on the outside, more on the inside. These guys are kind of similar. Um, they're both slot guys, which is really really funny. And but I
Well,
think
'cause they don't trust Jay because they probably don't trust Mooney's health. They don't
yeah,
trust that Mooney's. Like I said, the guy had one good year,
yeah,
and
pretty much. And
that's
so
why
and
he's cast here a little bit better than he was in Chicago. At least here he's a defined two. Yes, Cousins can come in and change Atlanta.
I want to see that proven.
I think he can. Fantasy. I mean, he's better than Desmond Ritter. Fantasy wise, it should.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Should raise all the boats in the sea. I mean, Drake London. That's what they've been saying about Drake London. Why he can't get over like 900 yards, or why he's in the middle of the pack. I mean, Drake London was what the number 30. Yeah, he was number 36 fantasy receiver last year. Like that, where he was drafted. I think he was a top 10 pick. Where he was drafted and all the hype and from coming out of USC, it's like, he's got the size 6'5" guy. I mean, he has the tools to be a high end guy, and maybe that they're, whoa, hey, we got him Kirk Cousins now. We got him, maybe Penix here. So I don't know. There's guys that have had lesser quarterbacks that have done more than Drake London. I don't trust as a number one receiver. I'm out on him as a number one, like as like a Chase or a JJ or one of those level guys. He's more along the lines of like a number one of like Michael Pittman Jr. from the Colts. He's more on that.
Pretty much. Yeah, and pretty much that's where London, Adams, Pittman, Evans. Those are all the fourth round. Moore, fourth round guy. Then you got your DK, Diggs, Waddle, and Nico Collins. So it's, to me, I don't know. I myself, I know I'm not drafting any London. I mean. No. He's kind of like I'd rather have Pittman, who actually I could probably end up getting later in this draft. I mean, McLaurin or George Pickens, guys like that. I would rather have over London. For me, London hasn't really done a whole lot. I mean, I think, and this is where my comment is, like, they, it's kind of one of those false negatives where, look at what Matt Ryan did. I mean, they had a few pieces here and there. They got to the promised land. They actually had a Super Bowl one. And they're like, oh, we don't want a Super Bowl, but just toss it away. So it's kind of one of those things is having the talent around them enough where they actually are hungry enough to want it. And I don't see that with this core anyways. But they do have a guy named Casey Washington that could probably play in the fourth, be the RB4. Not RB. Wide receiver 4.
Yeah, Casey Wash with some of these scrubs above him on the depth chart. Yeah, if you want to, Anthony, if you want us to give a little glimmer of hope here, and for Mars, wherever the hell he went, I'll send his ass to Mars. Here we go. Yeah, Casey Washington. I think he could jump a lot of these guys. I do. Number, like Jay was saying, end up receiver 4.
Yeah,
That's not saying a ton, because I think Pitts is going to get more I think Pitts is going to be better than he has been. But I mean, that's why I put him at 4 there, because I think people are just unrealistic, a bunch of haters, little bit. But we're just realistic about this team. They're not. Yeah, Drake London, I would like more. I would like more out of my number 1 receiver. Darnell Mooney, I'd like more out of my number 2 receiver. It's sad that Casey Washington was a 6th round pick.
No, yeah, I think so. I believe so.
But he might be the one glimmer of hope in this off. I mean, he might end up, working his way eventually in the starting lineup. You know what I mean? It's crazy.
Yeah. And here's the funny thing, that his kid didn't even get an invitation to the combine or anything like that. So he had gotten no invitation to, like, hey, let's check him out some more.
Shut him out, and he just said,
yeah,
with this.
Yeah, so
I'm gonna make it in the league no matter what.
Yeah, so pretty much, I think Casey will be the outside guy. Drake London, outside guy. Maybe swap in little Mooney and more in the slot there. But Washington does have some good hands. I think he could probably play some good 50-50. That's for sure. Not a home run guy, but I think he's a good move the chain kind of guy. You know, if
Yeah.
they need a first down, I think he can be that kind of guy. I mean, he only had 4 touchdowns last year, so I think he adds a little bit to this mix, but not a whole lot. But I think he adds enough to where he can, you know, if they're not running, I think he can, you know, at least move the chains a little bit for them. But no home run speed or anything like that on this guy.
Well, and you could see the target percentage. I mean, your number one receiver is got to be targeted more than 15%. So even the team, I think deep down knows that Drake London's not the answer as like the feature guy, as the number one option. And I think they want Kyle Pitts to be that. Honestly, I don't know if you got a graphic with Pitts at all, but I think they'd rather have his target percentages higher than Drake London.
I don't remember, but we can find out.
Yeah,
pretty close.
12%. Yeah, I mean it's close. It's close. It should. Honestly, I think it should be higher. I mean, if they think they can resurrect this guy to his his rookie form from 2021, before all the disaster, all the stink of Arthur Smith and all the bullshit with Desmond Ridder and some of these other scrubs they had in there. I think Matt Ryan might have still been there. I'm trying to remember if he was still there.
That's why I was trying to. I was going to find out if Matt Ryan was still with the team when he
maybe that's where his number. Maybe that's where he. I mean, Matt Ryan wasn't great his last few years with the Falcons, but I mean he's better than fucking Desmond Ridder and some of these other clowns they had.
Yeah, pretty much
quarterback like. So I mean, Anthony, we don't mean to be hating too much, but it's like, yeah, Kirk Cousins is an upgrade over Desmond Ridder, Ryan, Heineke, all those kind of guys. Even Matt Ryan at the end. Cousins is the best they've had since Matt Ryan probably 10 years ago. Absolutely. But coming off injury, and then the whole thing with Penix is like they could have spent that pick on maybe even a receiver. Dude, you could have went down that route. At number 8, you could have had Rome Odunze, and then he probably could have superseded Drake London as your number one option. Because I think Odunze has a chance to be better than Drake London. Absolutely.
So I believe Matt Ryan did play with Pitts in his rookie season, and then that's when they let Matt Ryan go to Indy.
Okay, well, they got to do something because what he's projected at. I mean, that'd be nice. I mean, that'd be pretty sweet number. Tight end numbers, a touchdowns. It's pedestrian, but depends on how much he's. Just depends. I don't know how I feel. Pitts has been overrated the last few years because he's been fool's gold and he's tricked people because we saw his rookie year and we're like, okay, this guy 2020 going into 2022, he's going to be the number one fantasy tight end. And wrong. And then going into 2023, he's going to be a top 5 fantasy tight end. Wrong. Yeah, he was number 13 last year.
Yeah, they have him right now. Projection wise, he's the seventh best tight end right now.
But that's if this, they get Zach Robinson I think Zach Robinson came over from the Rams with Raheem Morris. So I think Zach Morris. I think Zach Robinson's calling plays now. So maybe there's a difference there. Maybe they're gonna finally utilize Pitts like they should. Like, hey, you're gonna be a hybrid, dude. Like, you're better than Drake May. You're better than anything else. We have a receiver. We're just gonna line you up out there.
Yeah, it was funny because I made a few comments said, Kyle Pitts first round talent.
I remember Jonnu Smith last year with the Falcons. Didn't he have almost as good of numbers as Pitts did?
I believe so.
Pretty close.
Yeah. I can look that up real quick. But I was making the comment of that Pitts could be like the Ebron of
Eric Ebron from Lions Giants.
Yep. High talent coming out, but it just sputtered out. A couple of good years here and there, but other than that,
Ebron was he was just as touted as Pitts was. People forget, man. Number 4 overall pick. This guy was supposed to come in and be a Hall of Fame level talent. He was supposed to be the tight end catching 100 balls. Kelly Kapowski, the lead cheerleader. I look like Zach. Maybe I was thinking that I look like Zach Morris. Morris with a beard.
So Pitts had 667 yards, 3 touchdowns, Smith actually had 582 yards, 3 touchdowns. So pretty damn close. I mean, he saw 70 targets. Pitts saw 90 targets. So I mean, they were probably using these guys both almost equally. So Pitts kind of took, Smith kind of took away a little bit from Pitts, but not so much. But I mean, looking yard wise, I mean, that's pretty damn similar. It's not like, ooh, hey, we got to drop Pitts.
So Falcons. It's one of those. It's one of those situations. It's like you gotta it's one of those teams you gotta talk about. Because they're part of the 32. They're part of the division preview. But you're like, I see them going under 500. Bijan is going too high. I'm guessing that'd be he probably a first round guy. You were saying Drake London was a 4th round guy.
Yeah.
Worst Cousins. Like Cousins probably mid rounds.
He is 4th round.
Oh, Cousins that high? Oh shit.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah. 4th round. Yeah. He's coming off in the 4th round.
I think that's.
But yeah. Just overall in general, I mean, like, if you're missing out on Pitts, I mean,
Jay, I hate to say it, but Pitts might have the most value here. I mean, for what? I mean, if it turns out like they're planning, it's like, maybe we'll call it the resurrection of Kyle Pitts.
Yeah, I'm out on Pitts, so I'm not drafting a dime of him. Maybe if I best ball, maybe if he's
best ball, yeah. I mean, a lot of the, but
I might toss him in some DFS lineups as well. But I mean, other than that, I mean, I'd rather have Jake Ferguson, Njoku. I'd rather have Schultz. Hell, I'll even freaking take Merrimuth. I mean, just guys that are later on the draft that are in the same position as he is.
So, I'll just run down the depth chart real quick because we're probably pretty close. Falcons aren't, outside of a few skill position guys, not that fascinating. Because the one guy they had, they're benching all years. They killed his dynasty value, Michael Penix Jr. We should be talking about him, and we're not. He should be on this list.
He should be.
It should say Penix Jr., and then he should have like projected stats. Remember the crazy numbers they were trying to put up for JJ McCarthy, who isn't even going to start probably half the year. Apply those numbers to Penix if he was taking the reins of this Falcons offense. But no, absolutely not. We'll just go over this real quick. Kadero Hodge, no, ick. Everybody else on the depth chart, receiver, ick. Tight end, Charlie Warner, ick. Bunch of random dudes, ick. Running back, Tyler Algier, like I was mentioning, I think he's going to lose some touches to McClellan, the kid from Alabama they drafted. So some ick there. Like I said, they got a decent backup running back. The number 2 and number 3 receivers are kind of blah. But yeah, if you Anthony, if you want the Falcons to make the playoffs, you better pray everybody stays healthy. Just saying. just pray Drake London stays healthy. Pray Kyle Pitts stays healthy. Pray Bijan stays healthy. Because if these other guys got to get in, it's gonna get ugly. All
right.
I ain't got nothing left on the Falcons. I mean, I'm tapped out here.
Yep, we are. I think they.
I'm about to get choked out here.
There. Just real quick on their. Nope, not that guy. Chase McLean. I think he's kind of in that mix here a little bit.
Put the running back one up.
Yeah, just his stats real quick. I just overall thoughts on him. I just think he's just if Algier gets hurt, I think he'd just be a kind of a feeling guy. Move the chains a little bit.
Jay, he might beat him outright. Like Algier was actually one of the worst rated running backs from last year. I'm already praying. But watch out for this McClellan kid. I don't think he's going to be like Bucky good or like Blake Corum from the Rams. He's not going to be that level of good, but look out for him possibly beating out Tyler Algier. Tyler Algier was one, like I said, he was one of the worst rated running backs that qualified for certain stats from last year. He wasn't very good. That's that. And I kind of looked at the Bijan when they drafted Bijan last year too. Like, why would you had Tyler Algier, you had a 1,000-yard rookie running back. Why would I think the Falcons realized that's the one thing they got right is like Tyler Algier probably isn't that good.
Yeah, it's very possible. That's what I thought too. I'm like, oh shit, they didn't like Algier. He had 1,000 some odd yards. I mean, but I think they wanted something that was more, hey, let's cut through the lines. Let's get the offense kind of moving a lot more. Algier is just more of a bruiser. That's his game.
He's kind of more one-dimensional. Bijan can do it all. McClellan, he was versatile at Alabama too. So I could see that. And I put Algier's stat line, his projected stats on the bottom there because he was like the number 5 or 6, for that division. He was the number 5 or 6 fantasy running back, so I had to include him. But I don't know how that's going to work. I think McClellan might beat him out some point during the year.
Yeah.
So he might be, and Casey Washington and McClellan will be 2 young guys to kind of keep an eye on, especially for dynasty and if you're a fan of the team. Anthony, trying to give you a little bit of hope, buddy. Is it time for the midway point? Is it time to move on to the next team? Can we do it?
Yeah, let's go.
Bang, bang. Got the New Orleans Saints. New Orleans. Got that crawfish down in New Orleans. Here we go. Now we're going to get into some. Yeah, right. Now we're going to get into some heavy hitters with the rooks. I mean, the Saints and Panthers they got some rookies. They got some rookies here. We got a little something to talk about. Starting lineup for these two teams, though. It's not like crazy. Saints aren't like that much worse than the Bucs and Falcons, but I think there's a drop off. So the number one fantasy guy, in my opinion, Chris Olave. I don't know. What do you think about? What do you think about Chris? Let me read off his stats from last year. I'm trying to do my New Orleans accent. It's not going very well. I don't think I'd ever make it down there. 138 targets, over 1,100 yards, only 5 touchdowns. I think that's going to be his. That was the bugaboo for DJ Moore for a bunch of years. DJ Moore had trouble scoring touchdowns. A couple other guys, I know Deontay Johnson for years, and eventually they had a breakout year. I mean, DJ Morris was last year, and I don't know. Do you think Olave is capable of eventually being maybe a 9 touchdown guy? Like, is he just in this like 5-6 touchdown range the rest of his career?
I don't know. I mean, if you think about what
Terry McLaurin, and Terry McLaurin's a lot cheaper too. He's a lot. You don't have to draft him as high. You don't have to bid for him as high. I don't think there's a hell of a lot. Maybe some yardage or whatever, but I don't think there's a hell of a lot more difference between Chris Olave and Terry McLaurin.
Yeah, I mean, he's only had 5 touchdowns here and there. I mean, he hasn't. I mean, he's put up the yards, but he hasn't hit like the double digits. Like
no. That's what I was wondering. Like if other fantasy owners like think he can do that, I don't know. I'm skeptical if this guy can get more than like 6, maybe 7 touchdowns.
I am going to look here real quick here. Stat wise, touchdowns.
Stat boy.
Yep. So the only guy who actually
crawfish.
So Sutton actually had 10 touchdowns last year. He was the only double digit guy. Addison had 10, St. Brown 10, Lamb 12, Mike Evans 13, Tariq Hill had 13. Chase had 7. I mean, Jacoby Myers, Brandon Cooks even had more touchdowns than Chase. And I just think a lot of it comes down to their play style, which is why they're, they really don't have a true one down there, which is, that's, like a Jefferson. They got so many different guys that are coming in and, look at Taysom Hill. Let's play some quarterback, tight end, So I mean, they're all kind of bouncing around. Let's do some dump offs to Kamara. So they don't really. So they're kind of mediocre. They're kind of 50-50. They're not really. I think they have enough pieces, enough for them to where they can make plays, but they're it's not over the top.
Yeah, and You could see some of the breakdown up there, and they're kind of they should be a run heavy team. Derek Carr's not that good. I mean, this should be an Alvin Kamara, Kendre Miller kind of offense, but it should be a kind of a 50-50 blend.
Okay, so here's the thing: Can Derek
Carr? I know his stats are decent, Jamie, and that's why I put him at number 5 there. His stats are decent, but I don't trust Derek Carr.
Derek Carr or Baker Mayfield?
Baker Mayfield, no question.
I mean, if you think about it, these guys are putting up these guys are pretty much your middle tier guys. They're putting up, 25, 32, 19 touchdown, 27. Shit. I mean, Carr can have over 4,000 yards passing. I mean, shit, if you look at his average, it's probably 3,800 yards passing. So, I mean, hell, him getting traded, he almost had 4,000 yards passing last year.
Yeah, like little under 3,900, 25 touchdowns, 8 picks. Doesn't give you anything in the rushing game. Like, doesn't get you any rushing.
He's just your traditional pocket passer. Which is why, you would think that you would see Olave with maybe a little bit more touchdowns. Maybe 8, 9. But that's like I just mentioned, they're just kind of more of a bouncy team. Let's just miss and match. It's just, so it's kind of like who knows? I mean.
That's why they're going to win 7 games. That's why they're going to win 6 or 7 games. There's no pop there. Alvin Kamara, this is not Alvin Kamara from a couple years ago. 2019, 2020, even 2021 Alvin Kamara. He's not that guy anymore. So their pop is gone. Olave is, I think he'd be a really good number 2. Honestly, I think he'd be like right up there with where Devontae Smith is at and T. Higgins, those kind of guys. I think he's miscast as a 1. He's gonna get the targets in this offense because who the hell else do they have? Shaheed's okay, and he's decent. We know what kind of a gadget Taysom Hill is. Taysom Hill does a little bit of everything. Obviously we're gonna talk about Bub Means in a second, but he's a rookie, unproven yet. Let's go down the list. Juwan Johnson, do you trust him at tight end? No. Yeah, they would have almost been better off holding on to Michael Thomas. Just keeping Michael Thomas on the depth chart somewhere. Like, they really
and he's kind of
There's nothing that I look at like, oh wow, this is a great oh shit, that's a great that's a great receiving room. A.T. Perry. I call him Katy Perry.
Yeah.
It's just your terms real quick. I was just looking at Alvin Kamara. He hasn't had 1,000 yards rushing, but he's had 16, 14, 4. So I mean, the team is just more kind of and that was with the old coach. So they're kind of like it's just do some trick plays, which is so they're just kind of mediocre in a lot of those areas. Like they had Michael Thomas there as their true one guy. And then tossing a little Olave the last couple of years, but they don't really have a number 1 guy there that's really true number 1. And that's where we define Alvin Kamara as that one of those dual threat guys that he comes in and he can have your 5 touchdowns in the receiving game or just a couple in there, but he puts up 400 and shit. I mean, look at that one year he had almost 800 yards in the receiving game, dude.
Yeah,
that was the year that he had 16 touchdowns, almost 1,000 yards.
Well, he's projected to have like 71 catches this year. So I mean that's a majority of where Derek Carr should be, but it's not translating to a lot of receiving touchdowns anymore. Like Derek Carr, majority of his whatever he's project 24, 25, 26 touchdowns. Majority of those should be going to Chris Olave and still Alvin Kamara. Because Alvin Kamara is still the feature back. He just is.
Yeah,
Kendre Miller is okay, but he's not better than Alvin Kamara.
No,
even at this point. I mean, 75% of Alvin Kamara is still better than anything else these guys have in their
that's about
receivers.
Right.
Cedric Wilson, please. Like he's not gonna. He's just a veteran warm body in there. A.T. Perry, he has a solid rookie year. I was thinking about maybe putting him in the top 5, but I mean, I think Shaheed's more proven. Shaheed had over 700 yards last year, 75 targets. And he's what he's projected for this coming year. I think Shaheed he'd be a really good receiver 3 for a team. I think he's another guy that's like they need a number 1. They should have signed, like Brandon Ayuk. Honestly, I mean Brandon Ayuk is not really a number 1 either, in my opinion. But I mean, this would be a team because they're probably not paying a lot of these guys, a ton of money. Brandon Ayuk could be a team. The Saints, it should be a team going after Brandon Ayuk. Like if Brandon Ayuk really wants out of San Francisco, the Saints should get on the phone. At least you have then you have 2 high-end number 2s. You have Ayuk and then you've got a lot more depth. I mean, A.T. Perry and Shaheed can kind of be their 3-4 receiver roles where they're probably more fit. Honestly, the Saints would be a lot more dangerous if they had Brandon Ayuk. And Derek Carr would too. Fantasy-wise, if Derek Carr is going off the board at quarterback 25, he would have he'd be a steal if you had Brandon Ayuk and Chris Olave to work with. Yeah. And what's left of Alvin Kamara.
Yeah, I'm still to me, I'm still drafting Kamara no matter what. He's still going to be involved in this offense until they decide to he's done. And I was going to look at Kamara's contract real quick too, because I'm not sure.
If you want to look at his contract, I'll read off even from last year, man. He had almost 1,200 all-purpose yards, 6 touchdowns. He's like I said, he's not what he was, but I mean, where he was a Hall of Fame level guy. I mean, you're not gonna. I mean, there's a lot of running backs in the league that would love to have, 1,160 all-purpose yards, 6 touchdowns. He was still the number 11 fantasy back last year, so he's still, a top 15 fantasy running back. So, but it's just he set such a high standard, and people still think about that when they're drafting or when they're setting their lineups or whatever. When they're doing DFS, they're still like, oh, it's Alvin. He's got more name value than he does actual playability anymore, but he's still productive. I mean, yeah, absolutely. I'd draft him too. Hell yeah.
Yeah, but I think he's still on the books yet for the next couple of years. But in 2026 they can cut him in 2026.
Okay. Yeah. So and there's I don't know if they're going to be picking high enough to or maybe if Ollie Gordon from Oklahoma State, if he's drafted next year in the middle of the first round, maybe Ollie Gordon's worth a first round pick to the Saints. Like, hey, we need a replacement for Alvin Kamara. We need an elite running back or whatever. So I mean, that might be an option. But I mean, they don't have anybody right now that can even sniff Alvin Kamara. I mean, Kendre Miller,
they don't.
He had a decent rookie year. He was kind of injured too. Yep, there's Kendre Miller. I think Kendre is more of a nice rotation guy. I think he's a nice backup. I don't think
that's what I have to agree.
I don't think he's a 14, 15, 16 game, feature starting running back. I don't think Kendre is that guy.
Yeah.
And Jamal Williams didn't score his first touchdown of the year until I think the last game of the year. It's a joke. I forget how many touchdowns he had in 2022, but he's more fool's gold than fucking Kyle Pitts. I mean, Jamal Williams is
And this was the funny thing too, because somebody was, I mean, look at what Mustard doing.
He had 22% of the rushes, Jay. How's he getting 22% of the rushing attempts? Jamal Williams.
Hey man,
Jim Moore sound bit. Playoffs,
right?
Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs. You kidding me? Playoffs? I just hope we can win a game.
It's funny to think about that because I mean, look at what Mustard was doing. What he did. He had so many touchdowns. Last year.
20 touchdowns for Raheem Mostert. Yeah,
and that's not going to happen again.
No,
that will not happen again. He's
not.
Not seeing. He's not going to be seeing.
No.
He will not be seeing that much touchdowns. I mean, and this was the prime example of. I mean, look at what Jamal did. He had fucking 30 some odd touchdowns or whatever hell it was, 26,
like 17. But
yeah,
still,
whatever it was. He had so many touchdowns. End up signing Saints, 0, none, zip, 0. I mean,
yeah, and that was a charity touchdown because it was embarrassing. Like this guy was like an elite fantasy running back a year ago, and now he can't even score a touchdown. They probably let him walk into the end zone. I forget who they
probably did.
But yeah, no, it's Alvin Kamara. I mean, most veteran running backs have somebody breathing down their neck, like, oh shit, but no, this is still Alvin Kamara's backfield. He's getting 50% of the touches, which he should minimum. He's probably getting more. Kendre Miller, because Alvin Kamara is going into his 8th year. Kendre Miller would be a nice option in a deeper league. Stash him away. And Jamal Williams. I keep calling him Jamal Adams, the safety. That's what he's playing like. He's playing like a safety. I would avoid Jamal Williams at all costs. Just stay the hell.
Yeah, I would. I want to be. I mean, Kendrick Miller probably your best guy. You want to kind of take a look at. Just for recap. If Kamara can't stay healthy, I mean, Kendrick will be the guy to step in there and take over because we all know Kamara will miss some games here and there because that tends to happen. It's
you're getting into deeper in your career and you have as many as much wear and tear on the tires as he does. That's just nature of the beast. And I think Kendrick could fill in solidly. I don't think he's going to be a Tajay Spears from the Titan. We talked about the Titans last week. I don't think Kendrick is going to be a breakout running back or anything, but I think he'd be a nice serviceable fill in if Kamara did get hurt for a couple weeks. So
yeah,
Kendrick definitely draft him.
Yeah, I would have to agree. I mean, it probably. I mean,
Taysom Hill. Fuck it, just put Taysom Hill in and starting run.
There you go. He'll probably snap away a few of them. I mean, that's another guy too. I mean, that's why it's you toss in Taysom Hill. I mean, he could play tight end, quarterback. He'll probably be in snag a couple too. I mean, that's he's a vulture of doing that. You think, oh hey, it's going to Kamara. Nope, Taysom Hill. You're like, what? It'll come down to one of those things where you try to get into playoffs and you got Taysom Hill and then you're like. Some guy has him and some other guy has Kamara and they're like, yeah, Kamara's. Wait, what just happened? You're like, yep, sorry, Bub, you're not making the playoffs anymore. Taysom Hill just took away your hopes and dreams.
Right. He did a lot of it he did in the back half of last year. He was kind of a forgotten man. Like honestly, since Sean Payton left as the coach, like he kind of been a forgotten man in the last maybe couple years. And like second half of last year, he came on like gangbusters. It had almost 700 all-purpose yards, 6 touchdowns. That's a combination of everything, receiving, rushing. That's not even including if he had any quarterback numbers. Like, he's and for tight end 17, like he's putting up comparable stats. I mean, the guy was a number 12 fantasy tight end last year. So I don't even think he played a full year. You know what I mean? But he's putting up like top 10, top 15 like tight end stat. But you're getting the tight end position, so you're getting a lot of value at Taysom Hill. If he wasn't 34 years old, I would have considered putting him definitely at 3. He could definitely be ahead of Shaheed.
Yeah.
But Taysom, I think he's right where he should be. And Derek Carr, like I said, prove me wrong. Prove me wrong that you're not just a because he doesn't offer a ton. I keep thinking Spencer Rattler, who was the 5th round guy from South Carolina. I'm thinking eventually, like if the Saints have a bad, like if they're like 3-10 or something, they might pull. I know they're paying Derek Carr a lot of money, but they might just be like, hey, Rattler, get in there. They might pull the plug on this Derek Carr thing and be like, this guy is not it. Like, and see what Rattler can do.
Yeah, they can.
How long of a leash do you think Derek Carr has? Like
well, they got him until 2027, give or take, unless they try to trade him or whatever. Okay, but
they're stuck with him then. I thought like a year.
Yeah, they got him on the books. Yeah, they got him on the books for a while. So yeah, he's there. Yeah, they're kind of stuck with him for a while. Yep.
God damn it. Some of these quarterback contracts, man. These monster deals, like the Giants regret Daniel Jones. Saints, I think, are going to come to regret Derek Carr. I think the Jags are going to come to regret Trevor Lawrence. Like, we'll see. We're seeing it with these contracts and shit. But keep on point here. That's the running back room. Tight ends. There's a young kid we like, Dallon Holker.
Yeah,
I think he can make the roster. Bare minimum make the practice squad. Dallin Holker was an undrafted kid from Colorado State. We did a profile on before the draft, so we like Dallin Holker a lot. Yep.
We'll plug him. We'll plug him. We'll plug him so you guys can check him out.
Come here, boy. Plug that booty hole.
Yeah.
But yeah, Juwan Johnson. He is what? Yeah, he's.
I think he's injured. We were kind of talking before.
Go away, Joel.
We were just talking beforehand here. A few guys. I think Juwan was on. I think he's on the pup, and Olave, he's kind of going on the pup too. I think, or he was, or one of the lists. So he might not be playing. I think he had a soldier injury or something like that. One of those two.
Yep.
But yeah, so he's getting injured a little bit there. But yeah, I think that kind of trade card.
Maybe the contract's too long though. I'm wondering who the hell you could deal Cousins. That's interesting. Like, I don't think there's anybody that would take on either of those guys.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think they're stuck
Maybe
there.
Maybe the Raiders. Maybe Raiders would, for Cousins, like, and maybe get his money off the books and take back Aiden O'Connell. I don't know, like, but you got to find a way. I mean, sorry, to go back to the Falcons, like, you got to find a way to get Penix in there. You just got shoehorn him in there. Do something. You got to find a way to. Michael Penix is just gonna rot. It's sad. It's sad because I know how good that guy could probably be. It's just it's just sad. And there's Derek Carr. Yeah, pedestrian. You're telling me Penix couldn't be better used on the Saints? I mean, he could. He at least put up what Derek Carr is doing, if not better. Like,
yeah.
36, 50, 22 touchdowns. I don't know. It's just kind of ick when you don't provide anything with the rushing game. When you're not getting me a couple hundred, at least 300 yards, 250, 300 yards rushing, and maybe 3-4 touchdowns with the 36, 3,700 yards, 22, 23 touchdowns. You're kind of just useless to me. Like and in like a 2-quarterback league, I'd be okay with Derek Carr, but he's a backup. He's a backup in 16-man, 12-man. That's just what he is. He's a backup.
Yeah, I think it varies. Like, I can't remember. I think I mentioned where he was coming off. Where he was coming off the board at, and I think he was in the
best ball. I guess if he has one of his 300-yard, 4-touchdown weeks, which he's been known to do. I mean, he's capable of that too. But
yeah, 10th round, he was right around Russell Wilson, Bryce Young, then Carr. So he's kind of right around in that area. Bo Nix. So I mean, you can get him late. I mean, for some good value, and I mean, it's especially if it's two QB league. Some of these guys will probably be pushed up a little bit more, just because. I mean, you want to get most of your guys kind of up there anyways, because I mean, 2 QB leagues, it's going to be kind of dread after the, even probably before the 10th round, and you're kind of skimming on seeing who's left, So I mean, it'd be kind of your bye week guy to kind of fill in here and there, and hopefully no one gets injured. But yeah, Derek Carr, Cousins, Mayfield, all good choices for 2 QB leagues. Bryce, on the other hand, I don't know.
Right. Any thoughts on and we mentioned him at the beginning of the show being injured. Any thoughts on Bub Means? We mentioned Spencer Rattler. We mentioned Dallon Holker a little bit. The two rookies that could maybe work their way up the depth chart eventually. Any thoughts on Bub Means? Where he could maybe
I think we just kind of wait and see, because I know he was kind of injured a little bit, but I mean, just thinking about it, I mean, I think he's better than Cedric Wilson and bunch of these other guys that they got. I mean, they have the other St. Brown, they have Jermaine Jackson, Stanley Morgan. They got Bub Means as their 6th right now. But
bodies.
Yeah, pretty much. But I think Bub Means, if he comes back, but from reports we're saying that he'll probably be missing training camp. He might miss 1 of the 2 preseason games, so it's hard saying. So I mean, he's already behind the wheel a little bit, so who knows how much time he'll see. He's a guy that we talked about that could come in and probably be the 4. With the way this team is, it's hard saying, because I mean, I'd love for him to be the 4, even maybe being the 3, but the way they kind of use their receivers is kind of hard to really determine that.
Yep. Another team stamped missing the playoffs. Yep. Sorry, Saints fans. Whoops, there is none. Whoops. Sorry. Yeah, like LA is. We got a team. Any more haters out there? Okay, we're good. We can move ahead. Proceed with caution because you got the Carolina Panthers. Oh god.
Yeah, we might have to proceed with caution because
One more team left here.
supposedly our content sucks.
Yeah. But you know, they're these are nameless faces, right? I was gonna kick out of that. It's like
I think they're
we
just
invite
more.
people on, like, you know, we like reviews. Other than like a 2-second comment, why don't you say what actually sucks? Or better yet, show your face and come on and see they realize that, you know, all of our stuff is backed up by facts. Like you can't argue with statistics. Like these are, and the projections aren't even. We cite sources for projections. We take the stats from the previous year, which you can't argue. You can't argue with numbers.
Yeah.
And so a lot of these are just our opinions. So, and it's our show. So we're to say whatever the fuck we want, whatever's on our mind, because we're the ones that have to prep this stuff. We're the ones that have to do the graphics. We're the ones that, you know, have to organize this stuff in a certain way. So, you know, we're gonna do that. We have day jobs. We don't, you know, we do this because I get to do this, you know, with my buddy, you know. So so people like that, it's like, dude, I mean, it was like a mic drop moment, but he dropped the mic on an old lady's head. You know what I mean? It's like I think he's trying to do, and it's like, dude, you're not smart enough to, you know.
Well, we got couch potatoes. I think they know it all.
Yeah, we got couch potatoes. Yeah, exactly. Let me hook you up with a bag of Doritos, boy, and I'm gonna plug you in the ass. Come here. You know what? Now this is interesting because I kind of had some fun with this. You know, these bad teams you can kind of have some fun with. The Giants, I put Devin Singletary as their number 1 fantasy player because why the hell not? I don't trust Daniel Jones's health. Who the hell? Slayton? Do you trust Slayton at all to be the like? Well, I guess I take it back. I used Malik Neighbors. Malik Neighbors was number 1, and Singletary was 2. But that's a shame. Singletary should not be anywhere sniffing a top 5 fantasy list on any team. Yeah, so that was the Giants. Panthers, I had a little fun with. I'm gonna say right away, Jonathan Brooks. I can't believe it. I did too, because I had to research this damn team. I don't know any Panthers fans. You don't know any Panthers fans. Nobody knows any Panthers fans because they're garbage. Their owner's an idiot. Their quarterbacks, you know, fucking, I don't know. We'll get into Bryce Young here, but how good was Texas's backfield that, you know, Bijan came out of there last year. Roshan Johnson, who's, you know, kind of a rotation guy with the Bears, he came out last year. Jonathan Brooks is going to be a probably a top 10 running back year 1 fantasy. Like, where you know, this Texas is just stacked. Like, holy shit. And we got another Texas guy we might talk about, you know, the rookie Jatavian Sanders. He was the 4th round. He might be the starting tight end. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
lots of Texas represented. Jonathan Brooks at number 1. I know he's, you know where he's projected at, and, you know, he's coming off the board. You know, we're running back 27. I think that's some damn good value. I think he could really shoot up year 1.
Yeah, I was just trying to look at.
I have his college stats. While you're looking for that, that's his total stats, and that, like I said, he was sitting behind Bijan Robinson, so you're not going to have like 2 consecutive years of like 1,400 yards and, you know, 15 touchdowns, anything crazy. You're playing. I mean, Bijan is a, you know, he's projected to be a top 5 fantasy back in the NFL. So I mean, he wasn't sitting behind a slouch or anything. But last year, 1,139 rushing yards, 286 receiving yards, 11 total touchdowns. Just a very, and what he, and some of the other people that were, you know, fiending for the ball, Worthy, Adonai Mitchell, Jatavian Sanders, you know, there was other mouths to feed in that Texas offense, and he still found a way, you know, to have 11 total touchdowns and over 1,400 all-purpose yards. So I thought that was a damn good year.
Yeah,
I remember seeing him, you know, even in the playoff game that lost to Washington. I mean, he looked good in that game too, that college playoff game. And, you know, all throughout the year.
Man, you know, it's funny to think about that. You know, here we are. We're talking about the Longhorns and, you know, Brooks and whatnot. It's kind of like there's one guy that I hate on their team that really, you know, everybody's all about. But I mean, when it comes to the running back, yeah, that guy. Brooks is Here's my quick thought. Brooks is awesome. I mean, I think he can add the spark to this team for sure. I know you're going to say that, yeah, Brooks is day one, the headliner. Boom. It's, I know you want to say that. I don't think that is the case right away. I think Chubba Hubba plays a couple games. They got to get him acclimated. And then week 3, week 4, Brooks takes over.
What did you say?
I just said it.
My ear perked up a little bit. I'm going to pull the Hulk Hogan here.
Yes.
What is
you just heard it. That Chubba Hubba will be the starter week 1 for a couple weeks, and then Brooks comes in week 3, week 4, takes over.
That sounds a little bit better, because Chuba Hubbard ain't gonna beat out Jonathan Brooks very long. I mean, it's
no.
It's not gonna take long for them to realize that this. It's him and Blake Corum 1A for who's the best running back in this draft. So, and experts think that. I think that. I know we didn't cover him in the college spotlights because he was a high profile guy. We did Blake Corum. He was a high profile guy, but we tried to go with, few guys off the beaten path, when we did our spotlights. But Jonathan Brooks, I knew how good he was. And my question is then who do you put above him? I mean, Deontay Johnson, kind of a cast off from the Steelers, had some good years. Don't get me wrong. Deontay had a couple over 100 target years with the Steelers. And, you could argue at times he was their probably number 2 receiver. Adam Thielen had a resurrection kind of last year, 104 catches, 137 targets. That's way too many for a 33-year-old receiver. But
yeah, I was just going to say that too. Yeah,
I'll go down the top 5 just for time's sake here, and I'll see your thoughts, and then we can get into some of the positions. But just who above Jonathan Brooks? Who do you put at 1? There's Deontay Johnson. I'm like, no. Adam Thielen, not at his age. No, maybe Adam Thielen from 2018 with the Vikings, maybe 2019, but no. Bryce Young, hell no. And Xavier Leggett, the rookie from South Carolina. I mean, like I said, still an unproven commodity too. And I can't put rookies 1 and 2. I mean, you got to put some veterans in here. So I think they're heading in the right direction. That's what I like. So there's some stuff I like about what the Panthers did in the draft. They, like I said, they picked up Brooks, they picked up Leggett. Jatavian Sanders. I mean, they could legitimately have 3 skill position starters within the first couple games of the year. They could have a starting tight end rookie, one of their 3 receivers starting, and Jonathan Brooks as the feature back, all within a couple games. I mean, it's insane. And Bryce Young, 2nd-year guy. So there's a lot of young guys on this team. Even Jonathan Mingo is I guess he's been bumped down, maybe the number 4 receiver now, but even him, guy.
I believe, yeah, he's 4. Marshall's on the outside here, but young 2 QBs, yes, I'd take him. I just because I think he's got some decent weapons, like you mentioned. I think Johnson is a boomer bust kind of guy. In my thoughts on that. He can either get you some touchdowns or he can just go cold. He get ice cold. So he's kind of a boomer bust for me. But I mean, he's had straight triple targets the last 3 years, with the Steelers. But I mean, he had triple targets. The 1 year he had zero touchdowns. So it's just
that's the one we referenced. That's the one we talk about. This dude had that many catches, that many targets, and had no touchdowns.
Yeah, it's insane to think about it. So it's kind of I mean, for me, I guess a wide receiver 2, maybe if I'm looking at when I'm drafting, possibly. I mean, for me, I guess he's round 9, and then he's going right by Coleman, Xavier Worthy, and Jordan Addison, round 9, and you got Brian Thomas Jr., Hopkins, kind of right around that area.
Yeah, those guys make sense. D-Hop, I'm okay with him being around D-Hop and some of those rookies there, Brian Thomas Jr.
Yeah. So I mean, I'd probably, if it came to it, I put my bet on Leggett. I just because he's an unproven commodity, but yes, unproven, but I think he's well worth a flyer in drafts. Thielen, on the other hand, kind of has that rapport with Bryce already, so I think Young will probably lean on Thielen a little bit until he gets acclimated with Johnson and Leggett. So then I think later on in the season, those roles will reverse, and you could probably see Leggett, Johnson maybe there. But I think right now, I think Bryce will kind of has already had his rapport with Thielen, so I think I think he'll kind of stick with Thielen a little bit, but vice versa, the roles will change later in the season.
Yeah, I don't mind the receiving room. I really don't. I think that might be the strength of the team. I know. What? I know Chuba Hubbard's he's a good backup. I don't mind. There's a couple things I like. I just don't like the quarterback. Like there's a couple things I like about. I mean, the receiving room I don't mind. Running back room I don't mind. The tight end room's kind of a joke, but I mean we'll see what happens with Jatavian Sanders. How the hell do you have look at this? Who the hell is Ian Thomas? Who the hell is Ian Thomas? He's listed right now as tight end 1. Like, how is that possible? And Tommy Tremble was a joke. I don't even think he was a top 40. I don't even think they had a top 40 fantasy tight end last year.
Probably not. Nor likely not.
The tight end room was a complete joke. So that's why I was saying, hey, Jatavian Sanders might win this job. I mean, it's not unrealistic. So we know the main heavy hitters. We know, yeah. So Jay's got the receiving chart up there.
Yeah,
and they should all be about even. Leggett is rookie year. I think Leggett could be better than both these guys eventually. I think he's got that potential. But Deontay Johnson, Thielen, Leggett, they're all about equal.
Without these two guys, Young was throwing. It went Adam Thielen, Mingo, Marshall was kind of the third in there, but Thielen actually saw most targets. Mingo was kind of in the second there. So and even though I liked maybe some Terrence Marshall, but it's just probably not going to pan out the way I was hoping.
He's going to be lucky to stay in the league. Terrence Marshall, he's one of the few LSU busts. I mean, he's just not good.
Yeah, and that's kind of the downfall with that I've seen. It's like, God damn it, dude! It's like, why do you have to do this to me? But yeah, because I've wanted shares with him, and just even with when they did have a decent quarterback, I was thinking, well, shit, he might be able to do something. Nope. Because they had DJ Shark, so pretty much team snaps. Thielen, Mingo, Shark was out there a lot more than Terrence Marshall, so that kind of hurt Marshall's chances of being a guy. But oh well, it is what it is. All right,
you're exasperated. It's fine.
Yeah, pretty much.
Jalen Holker. I know there's been talk about a young guy, kind of off the beaten path. So Holker, he's kind of way down on the depth chart, but he could be a rookie that give a little bit of beacon of hope there.
Yep.
Because the rest of these guys are just no name, random dudes. Running back, yeah, Blackshear's still there. That damn Miles Sanders is still there. But I mean, Jonathan Brooks and Hubbard as your 1-2 punch. That's probably top 10, top 12 in the league. In terms of
and that's why I was kind of saying, Chubb will probably get a little bit of the first team reps a little bit, even maybe, starting the season a little bit, while Jonathan kind of.
I love him as my back. I don't think Hubbard's a feature guy, but I love him as my backup. I'll be okay. I mean, Chuba Hubbard as my number 2 running back. Hell, sign me up. All he done.
He almost had 1,000 yards rushing last year.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he can whatever they ask of him. I don't think he's a like a feature, and that's what I think that's what they found out with Tony Pollard. Like Tony Pollard is another guy that was a really good 2, or he like 1A, and then they found out like he'd probably be better, splitting with reps with Tajay Spears this year, and the same thing with Jonathan Brooks and Hubbard. I
mean that's the way I see it. Yeah. That's why I mentioned I think Hubbard will probably get first team reps a little bit first couple weeks, get Brooks kind of acclimated to the system, cadences and stuff like that, and then Brooks takes over. That's the way I see it. You're like, oh, you like some Panthers. I'm like, well, I kind of like what they kind of got going on here. I mean,
some of
they're
these
kind of,
teams, like I said, the Jets. The more we talk about the Jets, I was like, I'm liking this team a little more. The more we talk about the Titans, the more I'm like, yeah, this is trash. This team is bad. You're relying on a couple old receivers, and then the more I talk about the Panthers, yeah, I mean they got. And they did upgrade the skill positions too, to help out Bryce Young. In his defense, I mean, he was working with 85-year-old Adam Thielen last year and a bunch of scrubs. So I don't know. I don't like his size. I don't.
Yeah, that's the downfall. Small quarterback, can't see over the line. He looks like a little kid behind his.
Not very mobile. Not very mobile. He's not like Kyler. Kyler's short too, but Kyler is a burner. Like Kyler can get you. I mean, Kyler can get you 100 yards rushing in a game. Like at least piece it together, fantasy. And I think, and he's just a thicker guy. Like he's built more like an athlete. Bryce Young looks like he should be bagging groceries. He should,
right?
Looks like he should be working at Kessler's tonight when you're over. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's just not a big dude, and it's like but you can't put Andy Dalton in there at this point. I mean, the guy was number 1 overall pick. Like you can't put Andy Dalton is just strictly backup at this point, so he's got no value. It's not like they're gonna bench Bryce Young for Andy Dalton or any other random guy they had. So I mean, it's pretty much Bryce Young, and it's a good year. This is a good test year. You know what I mean? It's like the same thing with Titans and Will Levis. It's like this is basically Will Levis's chance to prove to them. This is Bryce Young's chance to prove to the Panthers, hey, we got you a few better weapons. So we'll see what you got. If Bryce Young can't get at least 20 passing touchdowns and maybe like 4 or 5 rushing touchdowns in this offense, then he's a bum. Then he needs to go away. He's a lot of these projections are for 20 touchdowns and about that, maybe 4 rushing touchdowns. If he can't get 24, 25 total touchdowns, yeah, just then I'm 1,000% out. He needs to be playing in the indoor football league or something.
Just quickly,
there's Sanders' projections right there. That's not bad for a rookie stat line for a guy who's a questionable starter. That's not bad.
They got
Jay. That's kind of the similar stat line that like Luke Musgrave and Tucker Kraft had from the Packers, and they had pretty decent rookie years.
Yeah, they did, and they have Sleeper has him listed as the top guy, so that's why I'm like, all right. I just look at the top guy. I'm like, all right, this guy's listed. Here's a rookie tight end for you.
He should be Tommy Tremble's a joke. And nobody even knows who the hell Ian Thomas is.
Yeah, that's about right. And then last but final, just Bryce's stat lines for this year. I mean, 19 touchdowns. That's possible borderline. I mean, we'll have to kind of see how his rapport is with some of these wide receivers. Maybe it is 2021. Maybe it gets a couple more than what's projected.
And he might, he's number 1 overall pick, and the GM wants to save face, coach wants to save face. They got the guy from Tampa. I mean, he did, like I said, Dave Canales did good work with Baker. I remember, I would know he did good work with Baker. He did good work with Geno Smith. So,
yep.
We'll see what Dave. So they got him a better, quarterback coach, or at least head coach that, better than the trash they had last year. But so better coach, better skill position guys. So it's basically on Bryce Young at this point. It's like, hey, shit or get off the pot, dude. Like. And fantasy owners, he and what you kind of like about him is like it's a penny stock, because people are so, I mean, they have shit so much on Bryce Young, me included. I mean, I have all, I'm no angel either, but he's a penny stock, and if he does anything more, if he can get even top 20 fantasy quarterback numbers, I mean, that's a steal. I mean, because where he's going.
Yeah, very, very, very much so. And I can take a look real quick. Yeah, I mentioned 10th round. So I mean, he's going in double digits. I mean, and I'm sure a little bit higher, probably in 2 QB leagues.
As a backup, backup. Just because I've liked what the Panthers have done this offseason, the draft. Bryce Young, I'm not huge on, but it's worth kicking the tires on. As a backup, yeah, I'd go after him as a backup.
Yeah.
It's not going to hurt anything.
Hell, I mean, if it all came to it, he'd probably one of my starters or, your replacement one or, bye week guy. But
Yeah,
saying,
even his rookie year, I mean, he didn't suck every game. I mean, there were some moments, and he can move a little bit. He's not Derek Carr. He can move a little bit. It's just his size. It's like, how many hits do you want, Bryce Young out there taking?
yeah, pretty much. And I don't even know what he was getting hit at, and I could probably look that up later. But we're getting to the spot where it's like we're running over. We gotta get the last little bit here done and over with. I need to get some food, and I have to get to work.
Yeah, absolutely. We want to thank everybody for tuning in. We know this gets long-winded sometimes, and it gets a little. But we try to be thorough about this stuff because we do it in one time a week just because a lot of this stuff's going to be broken up into shorts and so we in the main points or funny points or stuff like that. So we assume most people aren't going to sit around for the full 2 hours. So and we've got 2 more division previews after this. We got both the West, the NFC West, AFC West. Probably do the AFC West next week. So if you're a Chiefs, any Chiefs fans, if Jim Harbaugh, if you liked him at Michigan, he's with the Chargers now. We'll talk about them, the Raiders, and the Denver Broncos. We'll see what my boy Bo Nix is doing over there. But and then just to recap, these are the 5 rookies. Kind of have where I have them placed at. Jonathan Brooks at 1. He's in rookie drafts, rookie dynasty drafts. He's the number 1 running back coming off the board, as he should be. Him and Blake Corum, I think. Right there. Xavier Leggett, he's the 9th receiver coming off the board, and so I have him number 2. Bucky, 8th running back coming off the board in rookie dynasty, so I put Bucky at number 3. Michael Penix would be much higher, trust me. He'd be probably number 2, right behind Jonathan Brooks if he wasn't getting the shaft here. I mean, let's just be honest. He's getting the shaft. He's getting that dick right in the ass. Penix, and he's 6th of 9. Come on now. He's gonna. People will see. I mean, even if he has the whatever they're gonna do to him, it's like what. I'm irritated. I want to see Michael Penix. You want to see Michael Penix. I think a lot of fans of the Falcons want to see Michael Penix. I think a lot of people that follow in Washington and Indiana want to see Michael Penix, and it's just a shame. And then Jatavian Sanders. In this one, you could argue a couple other guys that could maybe pop in there at 5, but I put Jatavian Sanders at 5 because I think he's going to get the starting tight end role. So if you're even on a bad team like the Panthers, you're a starting tight end, you're going to get some targets. You're going to get a few touchdowns, some maybe 400 yards receiving. So I think that's any objections to the top 5 there?
Just toss Michael Penix Jr. out of the top 5.
It's sad, man. It's like he's. I felt like I had to put him in there somewhere because I just feel bad.
Let's just call this. Let's just call this $4. Let's call this the Buck show.
It's my
show.
It's my guilt pick.
Hey, just toss McMillan in there and call it done. Just
Jalen McMillan. Yeah, Jalen would definitely for guys that are actually going to play. Jalen would replace Penix at 4, definitely.
Yeah. Other than that, not a bad stick there. Not a bad. And those are just for just in division, not total. This is just in division rookies. We just kind of put our little grade on the in division rookies. So it's not all every rookie that was drafted. So these just in division are just our thoughts and opinions on them. But I think it's time for us to wrap up because we who knows, we don't want any more haters coming onto the stream. Like, hey guys, you got crappy content, but. It's just a learning experience, and I've learned, I used to not like, it's more criticism, I mean, hey, if you actually have good criticism that could help instead of negative,
that's a bad criticism. No, like something like that is just somebody like keyboard warrior, you know what I mean? Like, dude, actually have an intelligent take. If you can spar with us verbally or with you see some of the comments, some of a few of these guys are our friends, but a few of the people that come across our content, some of the good thoughtful comments that they make, and this clown's putting in, we're gonna put you on blast, dude. We're not being sensitive or anything. We're gonna put you when you don't put intelligent stuff up and you're coming on our program. Yep, I have good criticism. More Packers. Yeah, yeah. Donovan's always got you know, but yeah, it's our show. Like I said, we're gonna get into stuff. We have to basically cram this into a one night show, like one night a week. So, and once these division previews are over, we'll probably break it up more. I might have more time because I've been bouncing around with work. People don't understand that either because a lot of these guys are keyboard warriors and they live at, they fucking work part-time jobs at Petco or don't work at all. So they don't fucking, they don't know any of this stuff. So if you like I said, if you want constructive criticism, good criticism, you by all means say, you got absolutely, you can pull us to the side, DM us or even do it on the show. If it's constructive, that's fine. But to have somebody come on, it's like, I don't even know why the fuck we put his comment up there. It's like, dude, you're lucky I don't come over the computer screen and fuck you in the ass.
That's all right. I think that's
rail him. Just fucking.
Yeah, don't get this guy started. He's going to be going off, and next thing you know, we're going to be banned. So, and we don't want that.
I think there was a mildly self-indulgent song called "Fuck Machine." That's me.
All right, guys. Yeah, it's been long enough. It's time for us to get up out of there. Make sure you guys follow all of our social media stuff, which is out there somewhere. Discord, links are all in the description. At least, if you don't catch a show, audio, Spotify, Apple, all those good stuff. And who knows, we probably lost the guy because he's like, oh, I don't want to subscribe to them. But any subscriptions, likes, follows, shares would be tremendous for us as well. But I think that's it. I think it's time for us to just get up out of here.
Yeah, because I'm getting horny. So
oh my god, you're a filthy animal.
All right. Yeah. No, thanks, Donovan. Yep. We'll be back next week with some AFC West, and maybe we'll be on the X. Maybe we won't be. I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard saying. Who knows? But just stay tuned. We'll be on the YouTubes next week, either Wednesday or Thursday. We'll let you know. Follow us on the X, and we'll let you know, or even at Discord, because that's where you can find us. So, till then, see you later. I'm Jamie. That's Eli from Odd Rhythm. See you later. Bye.
Toodles.